All right, we're live. Cow tipping, episode 1. This is the first episode of our new podcast. Here with me, I got two of my buddies. I'm Omar Hassan.
I'm Arturo Wong.
I'm Alex Jet.
And yeah, let's get right into it. So we wrote some topics down. We're just going to kind of piggyback off of them. But we'll start with these just to get it going. So the first topic is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's actually it. That's the second one that I was about to read. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, honestly, I'm probably still going to be in school thinking about it. I don't see myself really still in the real world full adult yet. I'll probably still be figuring it out some way. I'm not gonna say I'm still gonna be in school, but I'm probably not gonna be in the career that I would want to be in yet, or in the position that I would think that I would be in for the rest of my life yet. So.
Wait, so what makes you think that?
It's because how my life is going. It's going at a slower pace than what I thought, and I'm still really unsure at what I want to do. I just have really no idea.
So personally for me, on the track I'm going at, I should hopefully be out of school by 22, 23, have my degree and on. By then, by 25, 2 years after that, I surely hope to be in a field where I have a career in the field that I chose and have my degree and be working towards growing in that field and definitely not settling down by then. By then, I would still hope to be single and just enjoying life. If I can travel. If just be really the only commitment being to my job and my career, so I can establish myself and then later in life settle down and do all that stuff. But by 25, I really do hope to be in that field that my degree's in.
Yeah, by 25, I expect to be in the position where I went to school for, have the job that I went to school for. But I don't think I'll be where I want to be in life. I don't think I'll be necessarily in the home that I envision myself living in for the rest of my life, or being around not the people, but having my family. I don't expect any of that. But as far as occupation wise, somewhat, I want to have that job that I go to school for. But I always wanted to have as many options as far as income. I don't want one income when I'm older. So I don't think I'll have that achieved within 5 years, because I would need more money from my original job to invest into other income routes. So I think, for example, if I want to get into real estate later in life and just own properties and things like that. I think I'll have my career, which gives me the money to back that later, but I won't have that set up yet within 5 years.
What do you want your career to be?
Just project management.
See, you guys say you don't know what you want to do, or you want to be in a position where you would want to do and what you're going to school for. But I still not really determined or decided on my major yet, really, because I took a semester off, so I'm still technically a sophomore.
Yeah,
if you would, so I can still change my major.
No, yeah, definitely.
So I really don't. That's what I'm saying. I really don't know. That's why.
And it's good.
I'm gonna be in school.
For most of us, I feel like me and Omar, I feel like we found that recently. I definitely found that the path I wanted to take is found that out maybe in the last year, not even a year, maybe 6 months ago.
Yeah,
at most, and I feel the same with you.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get at. Is if you asked me the same question 6 months ago, I wouldn't know. I'd be in the same position you are, just because I didn't decide my major yet, which gave me a lot of clarity. But you never know. I could switch it still. I could not get in for whatever reason. I'm still applying, hoping to get in.
I think with me, I needed I don't feel like I'm exposed to enough sort of, I don't want to say opportunities, but sort of paths, really, because I'm going to junior college and they don't really have that many options at junior college. There's 2 or 3 real majors that can really transfer. But once I get into a 4-year, I would explore my options more.
So something that really helped me, and it's gonna sound cheesy, but I grabbed one of the. It was the College Board book of majors. It had probably every recognizable major in every department, and just one day I went to the library and just started looking through those. And I went through most of the books trying to see something would fit my qualities, or something that I was found interested in. I found interest in, and that actually really helped me a lot to at least figure out, okay, I don't want to do this. I know I don't want to do this. Oh, this sounds interesting. Maybe like it definitely narrows it down for you.
Maybe I just haven't done enough research, because I'm definitely more into sciencey stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I want my major now to be chemistry. It's going towards chemistry, and but I don't really know what that entails after that. Like, I don't have a job that I'm targeting
Yeah.
with that major.
Yeah, with mine, I did the same exact thing. I knew I didn't like the major I was in. I knew I wanted to change, so I just kind of looked, and yeah, and I found myself, like, I chose a major, and I didn't know that my uncle worked with so many project managers, so it was very helpful to talk to him about it, like, just thinking he wouldn't say anything about it, like, oh, that's good or oh, that's bad, but he gave me so much helpful information because he knew about it, and I didn't know he was so educated on that. I didn't even know he worked with people like that. So I was able to go in, and yeah, that kind of sealed it for me, because I loved everything I saw, and I knew, like, the qualities I have will definitely translate better in this occupation than what I wanted to do before, for sure.
And that's good. I mean, it's about finding your strengths and your weaknesses and finding something that you can be the best at. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're going to be getting paid to do. We're going to be paid to do the things that we're good at, so that like people that aren't good at that thing are going to pay us to do that because we are good and have the strengths that we need to really succeed in whatever field we do.
Yeah, and I mean, we're young, 19 and 20. Like, we
yeah.
really shouldn't know what we want to do for the rest of our lives.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people in my family went to college for a certain major, had this complete plan, but gets turned 360 and they're doing something else for the rest of their life.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really knows. Like, they may say that they know, like, I want to be a vet. Like, a lot of people say they want to be vets since, like, 6th grade.
Yeah.
But how many of them actually go through with it?
The thing with vets actually is the the amount of student debt is actually the highest for veterinarians than any other major, just because there's a huge supply. Jobs are pretty scarce unless you do your own clinic, and all the schooling they have to do. At the end of the day, it turns out to be an insane amount of money for the pay that you're getting. The pay can only be really great if you, like, open up your own clinic or your own hospital, something like that.
That's hard to do. Like, starting a business straight out of college?
No, and that's insanely hard to do, which is why they have the most debt out of every major.
Yeah. Like, with all the other grad schools, I feel like that they're more for, like, an education.
Yeah.
For, like, veterinarian school and medical school, they're more for, like, for a certain job.
No, yeah.
But medical school, there's always going to be needs for doctors. But vets is just not as,
it's not as
job margins is not as needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And going back to the whole 5-year thing, with what I'm doing, there's people that work for companies as project managers, and there's people that take their project manager, like, skills or whatever, and they become contractors.
Yeah.
And contractors own their own construction business, and they have their own team behind them. And you're owning your own business at that point, and people become millionaires if you have the sense of project management and construction smarts with business smarts. So I'm minoring in business, and I mean, that's a goal that I might never achieve. It's really hard to do, but I definitely don't want to get into a project management position and settle. I'm gonna keep wanting to learn and keep wanting to do that. Who knows if it'll ever happen, but I mean, that's the main goal, honestly.
So your goal is to own your own business at the end of the day?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't expect that probably before I'm 30, probably before I'm 35. Like, that's something later in life that takes a lot of experience. But I mean, if I could write my life how I want it to go, definitely. Yeah, I definitely want to be a business owner.
Yeah, like owning a business. My father owns a business, and he didn't start it until it was like 48. So I feel like it's definitely something that you need to have the financial, stability for.
Yeah, I mean, it's very high risk, and when you're older and you have something to fall back on, something that you can get a job because you have all this experience, or just money backing you up, it lessens that risk. It's still a huge risk, but it's definitely safer to do it at a later point in your life, for sure.
And the thing is also, like, we're at a really young point in our lives. We really haven't we've lived probably a quarter of our lives so far. Like, we still have 75% of our life to go, which is crazy to think about, because we see, like, we're old and stuff like that, we're grown, but like there's really so much to build upon still that we just haven't experienced yet.
Yeah. And our real learning years, as far as understanding what's going on, is a few years, if that. Like, really, we really aren't, like, our mindset when we're late 20s is going to be, we're going to look back now and think we didn't know anything about the world.
Yeah.
So it's really our learning years. This is where it really starts. And
Yeah.
so our business aspect of life has really just started. Like we
Yeah.
don't know anything. So even though we are like 25% done with our lives, this is the start of like all that.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. This is really the start of it. Like, we have so much left to go. These are like the base building blocks. Everything we've done is leading up to. I feel everything we've done so far is leading up to a start, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
we're building up to start again, which is really interesting, actually, because because we think about it. Oh, we've done so much, but really we're just starting out. You know.
Yeah. And I mean, people, like, you got to think, people our age or people a little bit older coming straight out of college, look for mentors
Yeah.
and look for people to help them. So I don't think I would start my own business necessarily until I felt like I was mentoring other people.
Yeah.
I was the educated one. I knew what I was talking about,
Yeah.
because I don't want to run a business and rely solely on someone else's thoughts and expertise. Like, I want to be able to fully understand what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah.
Yeah, owning a business is hard. I mean, I can see myself, like, I really don't want to own a business in my life, just because it seems like it's too much responsibility. Like, the stuff that I see my dad go through every day. Like, do your parents own businesses?
My parents do, and yeah, I know exactly
Like,
what you're
the
talking
stuff that I
about.
see them just, it's like you're on call 24/7.
Yeah, no,
It's like-
I've actually told myself I don't want to open a business because you are, you don't clock out. You come home and you're worried about your business. You go to sleep and you're thinking about your business. Like, everything is based around your business. However, I can't seem to like get rid of that. Like, I know the negatives behind it, but I can't seem to like accept that I want to work for someone for the rest of my life and have you're never going to make more than someone who is in charge of you if you work for someone else. And that just doesn't settle well with me for some reason. Like, I don't want to look at my boss and think, I know what he makes. I will never reach that because he is my boss,
See, I don't think about it just like financial though. Like, the people that work for Elon Musk, like, they may not be as rich as him, but they, in many ways, are just as smart or just as innovative as him, just because they're the ones actually putting his ideas to,
Yeah.
in real life.
No,
actually
you're right.
forming
You're
them.
right. There's definitely, it's not just financial for me, but even the fact of of controlling like my own destiny in a sense. Like, as far as my business will grow as much as I work towards it, Like, if I don't work, my business will not be successful. If I put in the hours, it is rewarded almost solely by me,
And that does make sense, because at that point you don't have to rely on anyone. Like, your failures, your successes are on yours,
Right.
are on you, and that's really important, just because you can have the accountability. At that point, there's no excuses.
Right.
You can't say, oh, like this stuff happened, and extraneous factors. It's at that point really it's centered. Yes, there are extraneous factors that can really mess you up without you knowing them, but the majority of the load is on.
Yeah,
is
but
on
to
you.
play devil's advocate, like, you don't have a safety net when you're like that. So if something does go wrong, then it could ruin your life.
But
So
I think certain people, it's high risk, high reward.
No, yeah,
But certain
definitely,
people are willing to get rid
To
of that
take that
safety
risk.
net to just have the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think I will never, obviously a lot of people don't agree with every decision their boss makes. And I don't want to always think, oh, you should have done that. You should have
Yeah.
done that. I want to test myself. If I fail, I want to learn from that. Maybe never even start a second business. But I feel like that would teach me so much about myself and really highlight my strengths and weaknesses.
No, it really would actually. I think.
Would you want to start a business alone, like by yourself, like it's your business, or would you want like equal partner?
I mean, I would definitely partners now thinking about it. Obviously it would take experience. I would need to form relationships in the workplace
Yeah.
because I don't have anyone that I trust completely that wants to do the same exact thing as me. So, I mean, I can't answer that question. I'm definitely not against the idea of having a partner. But it would definitely, I wouldn't have a partner that I didn't trust completely and that we couldn't agree on completely, just be on the same page.
Yeah. Just because I feel like when you make decisions, when you're at the top, you make these big decisions, and it's just coming from one person, then it's more likely that it's going to be a wrong decision than if there's at least two.
Yeah.
So if you're starting a business, I feel like having a partner is definitely something that, should be, I don't want to say it's the right way, but it's definitely, I feel like it's the best way. Because
I
you look
mean,
at all
that's not. You look at someone who owns a business solely. He's the owner. That doesn't mean you can't consult your employees. You can't consult the people around you who are smart. Like starting a business by yourself does not mean every decision is coming from you.
Yeah, but consulting your employees and people that are below you, you're still gonna have this sense like, okay, even if they say no, even if they say it's wrong, I can still overrule them. But if you consult to somebody who's just as equal as you, it's like, if they don't like it, then I can't say that we're gonna do it anyway. But so you have to work it out.
Right, but sometimes let's say you have a plan that you know is the route you want to go. And it could leave you with a lot of success or a lot of failure. But you want to go down this route. And you have to consult with someone. And it cannot be moved forward unless they agree. Yeah. That could also be a hurting factor.
How?
Because if they don't agree, if they are giving one idea and you are giving another idea, and you believe you are correct, and they will not agree, then you're stuck in a situation where nothing can happen at that point.
Yeah, but it definitely can go both ways. It doesn't have to be like black or white. Like like I agree with the fact that you're saying that that the more viewpoints can give you a more researched and better solution. But at the end of the day, if you can take it within yourself to take that risk by yourself and say I have the confidence in myself that I am making the right decision, then by all means you should do it on your own and not have to share that. Like at that point there would be no point.
Yeah, I don't think there's a right. I completely understand what you're saying, Alex. Like I don't think there's a right or wrong way to go about it. But I do think, like, hindsight's 20/20. Like, people look back and wish they had a partner, but some people are so successful and wish they never had a partnership with this guy who doesn't have the same drive 10 years later as they do. Yeah. So it goes both ways. I mean, you can find positives and negatives in both.
Yeah, I think you look at the most valuable companies in the world, and I don't want to say it's 50-50, but a good mix of them are single person, the partners. I think like Microsoft and Apple, they were partners, but like Amazon and Tesla, they're started by one person, really.
Yeah, and of course, like now you look at Tesla, like Elon Musk is hiring people that he believes are smarter than him to make these decisions. He's not making every single decision, and I think he's the owner of the company, but he has the right people in place and around him to always have someone to consult and
you still have your board, your board of trustees.
Your board that can make decisions. It's just when you go public. There's a long time where these companies are private where they don't have a board. It's just them making all the decisions.
But that doesn't mean it's just them solely. Like it's true they make the final decision. But they make the final decision, but they still consult with other people around them to make an informed decision.
That's the thing with a partnership is you can consult with them, but the final decision is still not just you. It's both at that point. Yeah. But a lot of people find benefit in having being able to consult and taking all these people's information and still making their own decision based on their information they receive.
Yeah. So. I mean, I can see the other side. Even though I'm arguing for two people, I can see the other side, like how they say in sports how two head coaches will never work just because you sort of need that one person to make the final call.
That's the thing. At the end of the day, you need someone to make the final call. Maybe a three-way partnership so that way you could have like a deciding vote, but at the end of the day, when decisions need to be made, if there is no one, if people are advocating two completely different decisions, nothing's going to happen.
Even with those companies that I was talking about, like Microsoft and Apple, they have like Jobs and Wozniak. Jobs was really calling the shots, even though Wozniak was another co-founder of the company, and Paul Allen and Bill Gates. Bill Gates was really the person that was in charge, even though, Paul Allen owned just as much. So I think having an equal partnership doesn't mean that you should have equal say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's definitely partnerships where one of the partners is in halfway as far as like finances or things like that, but they trust the other person's intuition more than their own. And I think, just for myself, if I form that relationship, I feel like I will know. But there's a lot of negatives if you aren't certain about that person that could come up later in the future that I would personally try to avoid. Unless I was almost positive that this is the right person. So I'm not against the idea of a 2-person show, but if I see myself in a certain place and at a certain time owning my own business, I'd probably see myself being the sole owner.
Would you ever want to go public with your business?
If it gets to that point, for sure. That's the goal, really, is to be so big that
you can go public. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people's their goal is just to get big enough to where they can sell it and make money enough, have a good retirement.
Yeah. For me, not going to school for business and not solely focus, like, with a minor in business, I don't think I will ever have the business smarts to have a giant company. I just want to own a successful business that is there for me, for my children,
We'll never know.
and just for the future.
All right. So we had a little bit of technical difficulties there.
Yeah, cut, but we're back.
What
Try to-
were we talking about?
Just as far as we were talking about the owning a business, if we should go a 2-person show, 1-person show, go public, stay private, just that. So, I mean, okay, so you were saying you never see yourself owning a business.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
So, what companies that are in place now do you like if you could choose, do you just find the most enjoyment in the innovations and what they are doing in today's space that you would want to be a part of?
Like I said, I haven't done enough research, but I would. I don't know. Maybe something like Exxon, like some people that are doing energy development or something with clean energy,
Yeah.
because that's always something that's really interested me. And for the longest time, I wanted to work at when I was a kid, I said my dream job was to be an engineer at McLaren, but
I think I remember you saying that throughout high school, like the early parts of high school.
yeah.
That's dope.
That'd be cool.
Those people have crazy jobs.
Yeah.
But the thing about working at a supercar company is they can go bankrupt anytime.
Yeah.
They go bankrupt all the time.
Yeah.
So it's not stable.
Even not just super car companies in general.
Yeah.
Car companies are hard to maintain. There's so much cost involved that you could be making a lot of money, and just still end up negative.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think for me personally, well, with my field, it's information technology systems. So like basically implementing the technology. I feel what I would want to do is be sort of like a contractor, and not be tied down to one place, and really helping smaller businesses get their a nice head start by trying to implement the right things, the right technology to really help them build and be successful. I don't know why, that just seems it'd be fulfilling for me.
What do you mean by not being tied down by one place? You mean like staying in one?
No, I think
Yeah.
she means like a private contractor, right? They
A
hire
private
you
contractor,
to
yeah.
flip their company around.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Because I could go into a company and be their sole implementer for all the technologies that they have.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that I would want to be like you
Like
said,
a freelancer.
a
almost?
freelancer. Yeah.
But
Be my own boss. Do my own not my own boss, because they would be charging me, of course.
like
But
with my dad, he doesn't work for a company, but he's partners with companies. So
Yeah.
he's a contractor.
yeah.
So definitely like the companies that he works with are also partners with this company. Like he's partners with Cisco.
Mhm.
They the internet people. So a lot of their partners he works with. So I'm like he's not like tied down in one spot, but he definitely has ties to one side of the
No, and I'm
one
not
part of the
saying you're not
market.
going to have sides or loyalties, but at the end of the day, I want to not be at one company, if that makes sense. Like I want to be able to move around, do what I want to do while still like fulfilling my job and doing good things. with my
And I
job.
think that goes back to what I was saying as far as that's almost like owning your own business in a
Yeah.
way, because your successes make you more valuable, and
Yeah.
you will, and that can increase your pay with other companies. You say, look at the job I did in this company.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I can do the same for your company, but it's going to be at an upcharge because I have past success.
and at that point, your own company is you. You are the
You are selling your trades and
the
talents.
product.
It's
Yeah.
like being a lawyer. That's all what they're about.
And your skills are the product, and you can sell it and market it however you want.
Right.
Which I think would be a really good choice, just because I mean at that point you're in control.
Yeah.
So you can
That's
sign your own
dope, yeah.
contracts. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I thought about being lawyers. I think like being a lawyer, that's something that is so risky, because like you spend all this money on law school and stuff like that, and everybody like I was talking to some people that graduated from law school and they have nothing to do with their jobs, have nothing to do with law. They say it's a good education, but if you're going there to be a lawyer, like so many people are going to law school, and there's lawyers aren't that. There's not like they're
Yeah.
people are really calling for them. So I feel like that's just as risky as starting a business, really, if you think about it. Because
I mean, in that way, like law school obviously teaches you certain things, but certain traits you have just personally
Yeah.
could make you a better lawyer. There's reasons like the Kardashians, for example, was one of the best lawyers in the world. It's not because he went to school the longest, or his personal traits made him very, very convincing, in the courtroom.
I remember what I was gonna say now. How you saying you're not going to school for business, but all the biggest companies like none of the people that started them graduated. So it's not like they were. Well, I'm not saying none of them, but
Business
I'm thinking
graduates.
of Apple and Microsoft really,
Yeah.
and Amazon. They didn't graduate from business school.
Yeah. And
I feel like you do most of your learning sort of just through experiences, especially with starting a business.
But that's the thing with those with that is like if you're really comparing places like Apple or Microsoft, they were using theirs. They didn't use the business skills they had. They used their product. Their product was either software or some type of hardware, and through that, I think that they acquired the investors and business partners to really help them launch their product. It doesn't mean that since they don't have business degrees, that they that they started the business on their own. Really, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and business is very like there's just certain people you meet and they're
Yeah.
business oriented people. They are good at business, and so the business education is for a lot of times for people that already have these business style traits but want to just enhance them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't go to college and make $1 million companies,
No, yeah.
and their business is a very like since you are you are in charge. Your mistakes fall back on your knowledge, and your successes fall back on your knowledge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the schooling aspect is definitely pushes you. It doesn't make you worse, but it's not always. There's those stories of those crazy companies.
There are those stories, and you're right. Like it doesn't come all down to whatever schooling. Even most of the schooling you do, most people end up at a different job in their majors or their field is. But I feel that it really can help you, maybe not just in the knowledge, but also the connections you can make in business school or in any type of school. I mean, you meet people in the same field that are going to help you later on, hopefully help you later in life. You have those connections that can really help you build, be it your business or your product. Or
And I think that's what makes a university prestigious.
I
I was saying
that
like
too, yeah.
A&M, they have a really good business schools because all the people that were successful in business that went there that are more likely to help you out, and how other schools like Harvard and stuff like that are really good in a lot of law
Yeah.
ties. So if you're trying to be a lawyer, you just want to do stuff like
Yeah.
that.
And to be a good businessman, I don't think you need to be great at everything. I think a good businessman can really understand their flaws, but are great businessmen in the way that they hire people that know much more to take that role for them.
Yeah.
And they do it correctly. Like the business people who want to run the show completely 100% on their own and take no input from other people usually aren't successful.
Yeah.
They know they're really strong, like what makes them a really good business person, and they apply that as much as they can in that avenue, but they can see something completely that is necessary that they are not good at, and they can fill that role with someone who's amazing.
And it's definitely important to know how to delegate. I mean, if you know you have a weakness, or maybe you see someone that has a bigger strength than you, it might be one of your strengths. They just have a way better strength.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't you want them on your team to help you out? And
Yeah.
I feel that's a lot to do with it.
It's just like playing a sport.
Yeah.
You're a great offensive player, but you need someone
to
who's a
play
great
defense.
defensive player.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, so
Yes.
let's get into that second question that I almost accidentally read. So we talked about the 5-year plan. We kind of kept going on and on about that. But where do you see yourself around the time you have kids? Like, let's say, for example, you are a business owner. Do you see yourself still putting in the same effort and things like that you were at the beginning when you have kids, or do you see yourself slowing down and investing more of your time in family?
At that point, I feel like that's one of the reasons why I want to have kids at a later age, say 27 to 30 years to early 30s, just because I can establish myself at that point and be able to take a break. I want to be there in those important moments, just because at that point I feel that would be more important in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you would still be working, and I would still be working to provide, but I definitely do want to turn it down a notch, because at that point I would hope to be at a comfortable spot, so where I can provide and be there for my family and stuff, whatnot.
Yeah, I feel the same way. The way I was saying, I want to open my own business. I want to be, by the time I have kids, I want to know, I either want to have been down that road, tried to start my own business to be able to get my own hours for myself and to delegate certain hours for my family, or I want to be in the position where I realized maybe I don't want to start my own business and I'm really comfortable with that decision.
Yeah.
Because then I can know that my hours won't change. I'm very I'm there for my children. I understand the path I want to go for the rest of my life.
Like I have 2 points. I think, well, where I want to be is I would want to be in a place where I'm, financially stable and I'm where I want to be. And so if I don't grow, then I'll be okay with that, because I feel like answering how you would be after children is something that you really can't do until you have a child.
I agree
Yeah.
with that. I agree.
And
completely.
Visualizing, yeah.
And and my second point was saying, you really sort of what I last said is like, you really don't know like when you're going to have a kid.
No,
So
yeah.
it's really hard to plan, and like it's something that you just never, I feel like most people say there's never ready for it, and you never feel ready for it really.
Yeah,
Until they
I don't
move
think
out.
I'll ever feel ready, because I don't think I'll ever be completely satisfied with where I am.
You think so?
But I definitely think I will be more ready than certain points in my life. But I don't think I'll ever be convinced that I'm ready for a kid.
Because at that point, you're taking care of a complete life. Like you are that child's future. You're that life's future, not
Yeah.
even your child. There's a person. A person relies on you heavily, and I don't think people can be. I don't think I could ever really be ready for it until I experience it on my own.
Yeah.
Just
And
as I've
there's-
never felt that feeling of having someone rely on me that much.
Yeah, and I just don't understand the parents that just don't want to be there,
Yeah.
because it takes a lot for a kid to not love their parents. Kids want to love their parents. So there's some shitty parents out there that just don't make time and just really don't form that love connection. They probably love their kid,
Yeah.
but they're not showing it in the way that the kid will love them back. And that's
Well-
very hard to do, but some people find that.
That's just something that it maybe is how they were raised, and
Yeah.
how, and just like you said, if they're really that ambitious about their job and they prioritize that, I'm not gonna say over their kid, but they're saying I still want to have places to go, so they can give their kid a better life. But their kid may just see it in a way it's like, wow, my parents, like I'm saying, my father's never here, so
No. Yeah.
it's like, why, like he must not really love me, but
And
really he's doing everything for that kid. So
But I
People show in
think
different ways.
financially is an aspect of being a parent, but there's also a huge aspect where a kid's not gonna care if you're making 100,000, and then if you are spending so much more time to make 120,000, they will gladly take, I feel, less things in life as far as financial goes to have more time.
I feel like that comes and go with each type of person, because not everyone thinks like that. I feel the same way with you, Omar. Like I feel that a good balance should be correct, just because you want to still provide for the kid financially while still being there emotionally and helping him grow as a person. But for some people, they see the only growth is financial. Like at the end of the day, they might die and not be there, but at least they'll have their money and won't be at a worse situation, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
like,
And I think the different kids obviously grow up and realize these sacrifices their parents made. And some kid who is financially based and would apply that to their own kids
Yeah.
might see their father do it and say, yeah, I completely love him and I completely don't regret any of the time he spent away,
Yeah.
because they think that way too. But there could also be a kid who's just more of emotional person.
No, yeah, definitely.
And who can see that their father's actions maybe wasn't
Yeah.
exactly how they would treat their kids.
No, I understand that completely.
well, like you said, like if you want to make, I'm talking like a lot of money. Like if you're a billionaire and you're working a lot to be a billionaire, or at least high millionaire, and you're working so your kid will never have to work in your life, you can say that that's better than spending a lot of time in your kid and instilling the values that would make him successful in life. Saying my kid just doesn't have to work and even worry about being successful, and saying I've got to give my kids the traits to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you're a billionaire and you're investing all your time into making billions, I think if you invested 75% of that time rather than 100% of that time towards your business,
Okay,
they will be set up for life.
billion is probably a bad example. I'm just talking like enough money where your kid doesn't have to work for the rest of your life, for the rest of their life.
I mean, it's just different types of people. I would rather be instilled certain values that make me hardworking and make me, just who I am, rather than being handed a lump sum amount of money and say you never have to work a day in your life.
yeah, I definitely am the same way. I'm just saying, like,
no,
I can see the
it,
other side.
both ways for sure.
like parenting is something that, so like, there's no book for it, and everybody has their own way of doing it.
Methods, yeah.
Yeah.
There are things that work for them. Because I mean, what is the perfect type of child development? No one knows that, because every child's different. I feel. Some kids are gonna want more time with the parents or less time with the parents. I feel at the end of the day, I mean, it depends. At the end of the day, for me, it's just being able to keep people as happy as possible.
Yeah.
Being there, supporting them, and just being what I feel would be a air quotes good parent.
Right. and I'm sure our parents would love to spend more time with us and not work so much. But seeing my dad go to work every day and seeing the sacrifices he made also made me wanna. That's how you were saying earlier that kids growing up with parents that are doctors and lawyers,
Yeah.
like they just have a higher drive. So it's good to show your kids you need to make sacrifices to be successful and work on yourself. But I feel like most of our parents have found that good balance. I feel like most parents do find that good balance. But there's just those cases where they either choose emotionally completely and leave the kid in a financially bad spot that sets them up for, like, let's say they can't go to college. That, yes, you were there for them, but was that really the correct way?
Yeah.
Because now they're set up differently.
Yeah.
But there's also those people that focus completely on their job and are there financially, but never there emotionally.
Like my mom didn't work for most of my life, so she really did most of the parenting. But my dad, he was sort of making the money. So I really didn't, like, when I was younger, I didn't see my dad that much because he used to go off on business trips and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna say that he found a good balance, but he definitely didn't. That experience didn't hurt me because I still, like, respected him and I know what he was doing because, you know, he was actually, I won't say he was raising us, but he was giving us, you know, the opportunity to be raised by my mom.
Yeah,
just because.
and that's definitely, with dual parenting, I feel like a lot of people find that balance easier that way. But you gotta feel bad for the people that are doing it by themselves, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because at that point it's just extremely harder to balance it.
Yeah.
Balancing finances and being there. I do think it takes the right type of parent relationship, like parent duo, to work that balance around, though. Because at one point you don't want to. Some people might not want to leave their job because they have the drive to keep working at themselves to take care of a kid, for example. You know, so I mean, it definitely takes some sacrifice on both ends, on the people that go out and work. Say like in your scenario, on someone that goes out and works and someone that can stay home and take care of the children.
Yeah. I feel like I had that for myself too, and even if it was, you know, like, even if I was just necessarily looking at my dad and took my mom out the picture, who was always there, never worked while I was growing up, he still found that balance for himself. He didn't find the balance with just, you do this, I do this.
Yeah.
He found that balance with, you're gonna do the majority of this, I'm gonna do the majority of this, but I'm gonna be there too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I feel like a lot of people agree on that, and a lot of people understand that. It's just, I feel like it's a rare case to see the extreme one way or the extreme the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely things that, I mean, like, parents is a product of how they were raised. So, like, there's things that my parents did that I wouldn't do, and things that I feel like their parents did that they didn't do. Like, I forgot what I was watching, but it was a dude talking about, he grew up, like, in the 60s. Like, he was 20 years in the 60s, so he grew up, I guess, before that. But his dad, like, he was raised by people that were slaves. So what was instilled in him was a lot different than stuff he was instilled, like his parents instilled in him, and that he instills in his children, and that still gets passed down to these people. So saying that a parent does something one way, and it's the wrong way, it may just be because that's the only way they know.
Yeah.
So back to the thing where you're saying a parent doesn't spend that much time with his kids because he's too busy working on his job. That may just be what his parents did, and that may just be what his parents told him was what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, and let's say he had that life and grew up to be happy. He said, this equaled my happiness. I'm trying to recreate that with my kids. And I feel like a lot of people that end up out of their childhood and are grown and aren't happy always try to find a way to change and try to pinpoint it to one specific action and try to change that.
Yeah.
But you never really can. Like, people find happiness in different ways, and your kids might be very happy if you're this way, but you were happy with your parents being a different way. And so it's very, like, situational with kids. Like, you might talk to one of your youngest kid completely different because you understand their qualities and traits than you talk to your oldest kid.
And it's hard for a kid to say, as an adult, any kid really, to say that they had a bad childhood, because I feel like a lot of times it's a product of your environment. So a lot of the kids in your area probably have the similar childhood that you had. And
there's a culture around you.
Yeah.
And
so
you compare it to culture.
If you grew up in Beverly Hills or if you grew up in Compton, they can both say they had a good childhood.
Yeah.
Because it's just like they're product of their area, really.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I mean, it's subjective. Obviously, the person from Beverly Hills will say, "Oh, that was your childhood. That can't be good."
Yeah.
But for the person in Compton, they would say, "No, it was good because I had this, this, this." They value things differently because of their environment, which I think is very important. Actually, it's important to be able to see the differences and not be solely and do judgment solely on your experiences. I think it's good to see the whole picture. Read the person as much as possible, just so you can know where they come from, their background, their life story. You know.
Yeah. So getting back to what you were saying, certain things your parents did that you wouldn't necessarily do for your kids.
A specific example that
Just
I have?
example, or just you don't have to say super specifically, but just broadly, maybe.
I mean, I don't know. Like when I was a kid, or honestly, when I was still in high school, I would say that like, I don't say beating, but like getting spankings, I guess. But
Yeah.
but I can see why they did that, because I feel like I remembered it, and there's stuff that I definitely learned from it.
It was a deterrent. Would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say it's bad, but I can see why people think it's bad. And I'm not sure if I would do it. Like that's one of those questions that I feel like I would need to have a kid to answer.
Yeah.
But right now, I would say that I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An example for me growing up was they try to protect me and talk to or hide things from me to protect my emotions. For example, if I had like a sick family member or something, they would tell me it's fine.
Yeah.
And like I understand that for young kids, but there was a point where I was old enough and I wanted to know, and I just wasn't told, and then it hurt me in the long run for like just different situations. And that's something I wouldn't want to do. I'd want to be completely open and not try to sugarcoat everything when it's a very serious situation.
That's one of those things where I think like getting a dog is good for like young children, because it lets you show, it instills in the kids how life works. You have to take care of it, and the dog's gonna die, so it also lets the kids deal with death and stuff like that, and it lets the kids learn about life through another life without having it to be a human life.
Yeah, that is very true. It is a really good learning experience just to experience a life different than their own. We're not gonna experience what the dog is feeling probably ever.
Because kids are selfish.
Yeah, kids are selfish, and it instills a good balance of, hey, this is you're dealing with this life. You have to protect it.
Right.
Well, maybe you don't have to, but they're gonna feel it themselves. If they end up caring for the dog.
That's a great way to look at it. Yeah, I think because the kids obviously, let's say you have a younger brother, you can instill certain values, but the parent is gonna take charge in that like the taking care of process.
Yeah.
But with a dog, you can give a child a lot of responsibilities and say, this is your job. If you don't do this, like, the consequences.
Yeah.
And it gives them that sense of like, okay, this isn't selflessness. Like I have to take time out of my day to make sure this life is happy.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way of looking at it.
No, yeah, it definitely is. For me personally, something I would change with my parents, or when I'm a parent, I would want to be more emotionally there for my children. I would say I have a pretty good relationship with my parents. Like we all get along and we're happy, but I've always thought that our relationship was pretty shallow in a way. I've never felt comfortable enough really talking to them about like feelings or emotions with them, just because, I mean, they never talked about it with us that much, which I wouldn't say has hurt me in the long run, but I wouldn't say has helped me either. I just think that it's important to be there for them, as they're like, it's the people you're going to see most during your childhood, and during that very emotive state of your life.
Yeah, I definitely sort of feel like I sort of feel similar to that. Like, I'm not gonna say my parents were distant, but they definitely I feel like they didn't really share their emotions with me. So growing up, I felt like I shouldn't share my emotions with them. Now I feel differently. Like my dad, he's the only one that's really ever made me cry just from talking to me, just because I forgot what he was doing. But I remember like just him saying stuff just made me feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And he's so I feel like even though we didn't share our emotions like that, I feel like I am comfortable emotionally with them. But there's some stuff I don't feel comfortable talking to them about.
Yeah, I can agree completely. Like I saw very little of their emotions, but they were good at, taking mine and making me know that I could share mine,
Yeah.
even though they weren't sharing theirs.
Yeah.
But I wish they would have shared theirs, and
Yeah,
so
I
I could
also-
relate on a different level.
Definitely. I mean, it's weird now. Like as I've grown up, I've seen myself get more comfortable with my parents, and
Yeah.
because I can see things in their eyes now. I can see, oh, you're like a real person. You're not just a mom or dad. You're
Yeah.
a person. You've lived this life, and it would have maybe it wouldn't have been as good as a learning experience as it is now. Just to see, hey, we've gone through the same things. We've been there. We can help you out. You know.
Yeah.
From a point, I do understand why they wouldn't do that as a child, just because we don't have really the understanding of what goes on. But to a certain degree, I feel like it would have helped to see it more like to more human,
See,
less
like now,
authority.
my parents share, like, there's stories that I asked my dad, like my dad told me when I was younger that changed when I was older, just because I feel like he could actually tell me the truth and I would
Yeah.
understand it. So like times where he's almost been arrested or something like that, he was just saying like no. Or times like he used to tell me that he's never been, like he never got in trouble as a kid or never anything like that. Then he told me that like he had these tickets and stuff like that and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just little things like that.
Yeah. There was one thing that my parents told me recently that was very like I liked it, you know. I want to do that, and they trusted. I'm 19. I'm still young. I still ask for their input in certain decisions.
Yeah.
But sometimes they will say you're growing up. You need to fail and you need to succeed, and do what you think is right. Don't come asking us for certain things when we're gonna say something that maybe, but you are almost dead set on a certain thing. Like, go with your gut, see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, it was like with the switching major thing. Said I have two options. I could do this major, and end up in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly one has this benefits, the other has this benefits. They say, listen, I'm not in school. You know more. You've talked to your advisors. I wasn't sitting through that meeting.
Yeah.
So he said, you need to make that decision for yourself. That's not going to affect my life in the future.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, that's a really good lesson. Because at the end of the day, when you're grown, they might not be there for us, and we might not have someone to help us go through those decisions, and we're gonna have to make those decisions on our own based on what we feel.
And like I always stress like financially, like with school, like this would be the cheaper route. Or this, he said, don't worry about it. I've worked my life to let you make these decisions.
Yeah.
He said, make these decisions. Yeah, one's obviously easier for me, but he said, don't worry about that. You know, like you are more educated on this than me. The
Yeah.
two routes that you're talking about. He said, I could tell you which one I prefer, but I don't want you to make your decision on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I ask my parents, and sometimes they answer, and most of the time, I ask why, because I want to see like why you would like if I feel like I should go with option A, and they say I should go with option B, I'll just be like why, because if there's some downsides to A that I'm not seeing, then I would want to learn them.
Yeah.
So if like I'm still making my own decisions, but I definitely still need their input in some
Yeah,
things.
and they
I
tell
want
me,
their input.
They tell me, but they end the conversation with that. They'll say, this is why I think this, and this. But you need to tell me why you think on this side, this, and this.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to a point where I see positives and negatives in both. They see positives and negatives in both.
Because in actuality, if I'm asking them, do you think I should do this? And I'm not sure. I'm definitely leaning one way, but I'm definitely like, I'm not sure if I'm asking them.
Mhm.
Like if I'm positive, then I just won't ask them. I'll just do it.
Yeah. And like, especially with school where I'm lucky enough to not pay for it, I don't ever want to tell them. And I just feel like, but I feel like they got to the point where they trust me enough, and they believe I'm old enough, smart enough to make those decisions. But there's something in me that I don't tell them I'm doing this, and this. I ask. But so hearing them say that was really them telling me like, don't come to us for answers. Come to us for like advice.
Yeah.
You form your answers. Yeah.
That always sort of bothered me when people like, I don't say disrespected their parents, but like told them what they're like. I never tell my parents anything. I still ask them. Like I don't even say, like I'm going out later. I say, can I go out later? And I'm 20. I'm still living with them, so I still feel like it's their house, you know.
Yeah, that changed for me as soon as I moved out, and I knew it was going to too, because I saw the change in my brother and sister as soon as they moved out.
Really?
Like once you come back home, you are like visiting in a way. Like yes, you are under my roof. Yes, I'm paying for your roof there as well, but like it's become like It's because like when I go out, it's not it's I don't ask. But that changed. It wasn't like I was old enough. It's just that situation of moving out. Like I could come back a week later after moving out, and that changed. That's just the way they ran it. It's like once this part of your life happens, then that changes.
No, I actually felt the same way when I moved out and came back. Because before, like, I used to always say, hey, like, is it cool if I do this? Is it cool? Or I'm going here, is that cool? But after coming back, or even on breaks and stuff, I was like, hey, like, the feeling just stopped for some reason. Like, after having the freedom, it was just, I'm going to do this. Obviously, this is like, hey, no, like, don't do that. I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
sure, whatever, you know? But for the most part, I wasn't asking. It was more of, yeah, I wasn't asking, you know. I was telling them and seeing if that was all right with them, if that makes sense. But.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely times during the school year where I don't ask. It's mainly now because my sisters are back home, and we still only have one car for all three of us.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
that
like,
makes sense.
Yeah,
for sure.
But that's gonna change because they should be getting a car next week or something.
Yeah, I just feel like them knowing that I have a place where like they don't make decisions. When I go to College Station, they don't have that authority unless I call them because they just don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna ask every decision. They don't want me to ask every decision.
Yeah.
So yeah, once they just like they told me once you move out, you're gonna have to make a lot of decisions,
And
that just
that's a trust thing.
Yeah, that just translated to back home as well.
Yeah.
So.
And it must be a trust thing. At that point, you know, if he's making his own hopefully good decisions on his own, why wouldn't he make the good decisions here? You know,
Yeah.
it should translate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like any of us really make stupid decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, we definitely all messed up, but as far as like huge, like where we know, like you know that everyone knows that it's a stupid decision, but consciously make those, like definitely every bad decision I feel like I've made, I didn't see the outcome being that bad.
Yeah, definitely.
So every bad decision I made, I definitely learned from it, and like I didn't, like you said, I didn't know it was as bad.
Yeah.
Or I really can't think of an example really. So I guess I haven't really messed up that bad. The biggest thing I'm thinking about is a ticket that I gotten. But that's just, you know, a ticket that happens.
No, I feel like for me, like I have made certain decisions that I know are gonna hurt me, and at the end of the day, I come out thinking, why did I do that? Like it's at some points like I feel that I just go into an impulsive autopilot type mode, and I just can't. I'm very self-destructive in some ways, not in most ways, but in some ways, there's just something about me is just, for some reason, it just chooses to ignore the feeling of, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
It's not often, but it happens very seldom, but I definitely can tell when it happens.
Yeah, I can think of one now. Like in high school, I didn't care. That was probably like my biggest decision that I really regret.
Yeah.
That I messed up on. It's
And
like
in
I
high
just
school, it was
didn't
the
care
decision.
enough.
Yeah.
Like it really was the decision to focus, and because the teachers offered success to almost every student that tried their best. So I completely agree with you. That like in high school, like I chose to not try. It wasn't like I was trying and just wasn't doing well. I chose to not try.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest. I don't say regret, but like my biggest like mistake I made looking back on it. But I definitely learned from that. It took me a little bit longer than it should have, but I definitely did learn from that. And I changed from it.
And I still struggle with that now. Like I can finish a semester, and I've never finished a semester and really believed I gave it my all. And I need to figure that out. Like,
no, like this last semester, I like 6 weeks before the semester was done, in one of my classes I had a 30, and the only reason I passed with it was like an 84. The only reason that was because I really tried in the last couple of grades. There's only like 3 grades left, but they're all worth like two were worth 20%, so it was 40%. The other one was worth something. So, and I got like A's on all those. So I was thinking, I guess I'm really not trying. Like I thought I was trying.
Yeah,
but I
that's
guess
the
I'm
problem
not.
I have. I convince myself I'm trying.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm trying. I'm putting in effort. But am I really doing? Like, I have all this time. I say I'm too busy. I'm not too busy. Like this is my full-time job, thankfully, is to be a student.
Yeah.
And I need to really treat it like one.
Yeah. And I find myself doing the same thing every time. I think I know I have homework due a certain day, but I say, oh, I worked all day. I deserve a break. Really, I could be doing it. It's not
Yeah.
that big of a deal where I could be.
You saw me at the end of the semester. Like every day, I was working on my essays at work just
Yeah.
because I really didn't have time. And that's when I was really trying to
Mm-hmm.
get it done.
Yeah, and it's always possible to get things done. It's just finding the will in ourselves to say, hey, at least work on it a little bit. You know, put in a little bit, and that's been really hard for me recently.
I mean, yeah, trying this for me is hard.
it is hard.
And doing
It's
it
very
all,
hard.
trying all the time is hard. Every
Yeah.
day, 5 days a week is hard.
It
It
is
doesn't
really
matter
hard.
who.
I find in
No matter what you're doing.
I find in myself that motivation comes in like like sections. Like I'll start a semester super strong, but then one day for some reason it'll click. Like I tried so hard that I'm in a great spot, which allows me to be a little less.
Yeah, and then it's a cycle.
Yeah.
Or for me at least. 'Cause
And I just don't finish the way I start.
yeah, definitely.
And there's sometimes where I don't start the way I finish, and like I finish much better.
Yeah.
So it's just I need to find that like
Yeah.
why start strong if you're gonna end weak? Why
Yeah.
start weak if you're gonna end strong?
I'm definitely more of like I seem to start weak, and then I'm like at the end of the year, it's like, oh, if I don't really start trying, I'm gonna fail.
Yeah.
But that's definitely not good, you know. If I tried all the time, then you know.
And I
So
think,
maybe,
I think
yeah.
we are all in the place we are because we are hardworking compared to a lot of individuals.
No, yeah.
But there are a lot of individuals who are in places who are not smarter than us necessarily, like genetically or IQ wise. They just choose to work harder, and I just want to always hold myself more accountable. You know,
Yeah.
like I could be there. Yeah, I don't want to compare myself to people who are doing worse because that makes me comfortable in my negatives. You know.
Yeah.
Like I comparing myself to my peers I had like a breakthrough one day in my English class at junior college. I was doing peer reviews. I was thinking my essay is bad because I was reading over and I was like, okay, this really isn't that good. But doing the peer reviews, I realized like, wow, like this dude's essay,
Some people are
Is
not
a
good.
mess.
Yeah.
like I don't even know where to start. You know what I mean? So looking at that and saying, okay, if he's passing, then I feel like that I really should be at a different level than this because I could just do better. I'm not sure if he's trying his hardest or if they're trying their hardest, but I definitely feel like I was at a different level than a lot of my peers in that
Yeah.
class.
Yeah, I just need to stop justifying my negative actions by other people's worst negative actions. I need to start, critiquing my negative actions on other people's positive actions,
Right, like saying, who cares? Like, who cares if I got a 50, if Jimmy got a 30 or something like that? That's how I used to
Kyle
be in
got
high
an A.
school. Yeah,
You gotta be a Kyle.
Gotta be Kyle.
everybody wants to be Kyle, man.
No, I definitely felt the same way. I was junior college too, and from going to, I've always thought myself as a pretty smart person. I've always had that ego about me. I say, oh, I'd like, and I always think, oh, I'm smart in this or whatever. And it really took going to junior college, from somewhere to A&M to going somewhere and say, oh, like, this is not where I should be. This is not where myself thinking, like, my ego saying, I should be at a higher level than this, but I just wasn't because I didn't put in the effort. And that's something that really helped me think, like, I really if I feel that I should be somewhere where I deserve to be, it's not going to come by itself. It's only like my own skills are only going to take me so far. I had to actually implement them and put the effort in, put the work in to really reach my full potential.
Yeah, I remember like leaving high school and knowing like applying to 4-year universities, but also to community colleges, and like I was happy with going to a community college.
Yeah.
Like I had 4-year acceptance, but I put myself in a community college and was fine with that decision. But once I got there, I realized like this isn't like I don't want this for myself. Like I want more, and it's just that's me growing. Like I was okay with being at a junior college, even maybe my first semester. Like I was completely fine with it. Like yeah, I'll do my 2 years, then I'll move on.
Yeah.
But I found myself like no, I want to get out of here as early as I can. Like that it changed for me.
Yeah.
And I think the peers around me, and now at A&M, I hold myself to a higher standard because the peers around me hold themselves to a higher standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely helps being around people that are more motivated or just as motivated as you.
And it can't help you being around people that are less motivated than you. But I feel like you need to experience both, because like being around people that are less motivated will maybe like make me feel better about myself, which will maybe work a little bit harder. But it's good to feel like you're not doing enough sometimes.
See, I'm the other way. Like if I'm feel like I'm behind everybody else. So I feel like I'm more willing. Well, I am more willing to work harder to get to where they are. Then if I'm ahead of other people, then I sort of stoop to their level.
Yeah,
I'm like that in a lot of things I do.
I'm like that too. Like I could definitely, especially with school, like with other aspects, like if I'm better than someone at a certain thing, like I want to keep getting better and to be even better than the average person. But with school is like I was okay with being average. Like I was okay with putting in average amounts of work.
Yeah.
And I just like it still hasn't changed for me the way I want it to, but I've definitely seen it increase a little bit recently.
I definitely do feel like what you're saying, Alex. When I feel that when I'm around people that are that don't have per se like the effort that I put in, I feel myself stooping down to their level just because I know I could be better, but everyone else is like this, so I'm just going to be just a tad bit better. I'm going to slack off in my skills.
It helps you
so
justify
I can be at that level. It's a justifying method, but at the end of the day, you need to for me, I've learned that even though I might not be, even like I know that I can be a lot greater than people that are lower than me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, so I've been wanting to really take out the expectations, or not the expectations, but the peer side of it, and see as okay, what can I do for me? What can I do for myself to really improve myself? Not comparing it to other people.
That's always good. Like if you can sort of just compare yourself to yourself, then that's a good quality to have. But it's not something that I feel like that I have naturally.
I definitely don't have it naturally, but it's a quality I want to have, and it's a quality that I've found myself increasingly having day by day. Especially having these talks, seeing how educated some people are, talking to other people educatedly, and seeing, okay, like this is something I can do. I can achieve it, and I can really set myself forth to do it for me, not for other people.
Yeah. And I feel I've always justified my bad actions, or especially in school, like my non-effort for like I know I'm smart. Like I know that there's plenty of conversations that I could have with someone, and you would tell like I was a smarter version, or the smarter person, but I just didn't like that. Doesn't work in the real world. No. You can have all these natural skills or just all this like smarts, but if you don't implement them and don't really push yourself to like bring them out of yourself all the time, then it's useless.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like I know them because I'm me, but I really need to like get them out in the world and prove to myself that like this will work in real life situations.
Yeah, definitely. I feel the same way.
Like I remember one time in high school, my mom, she told me one time, it's like I know that, she said, I know you're smart, but you act really, really dumb. And that like really got to me, because like it made me think that like even if I don't want to say I'm smart, but even if I'm not dumb, if you act dumb, then people are going to assume you're dumb. And then if everybody assumes you're dumb and you're acting dumb, then you're just dumb.
Exactly. Yeah. And I agree with that 100%. People's perception of you matters a lot more than we think, actually. Especially in the corporate world, job market, stuff like that. As much as you may seem to yourself that I am this much better, if your employer doesn't see you as that much better and sees a candidate better than you just because they work hard, even though you may see yourself better than that candidate, at the end of the day it doesn't matter.
You need to be able to advertise yourself. You can see someone doing something and say, I could do that way better. But until you do it way better, no one from the outside will think you can think you can do it better.
Exactly, that's what, like, having that conversation with you guys after the last podcast about working at Shenanigans and how I said I know how I'm a good employee.
Yeah.
But I felt like having that conversation made me realize that maybe I don't like act like it. Like I don't act like it enough. Like there's times, like there's definitely been times where I know that I'm slacking off. I could be doing something I'm not. And like I feel like that's what you do when people aren't looking is a better reflection of your personality than what you're doing when people are looking.
No, definitely.
Yeah. And I'm sure your argument in that conversation was you understood your potential, and you see it. Like, of course I could be a perfect employee, but the people around you are really going to judge based on actions, because that's all. They don't know your thoughts. They don't know your talents unless you show them.
The only thing they know is what they see.
Yeah, I always said the job was easy, and I really just shouldn't need, like, I really don't need to try that much and really think about it. But I mean, obviously I do if I'm not doing as well as I thought I should be. So after that, sort of, I don't want to say put more effort into it, but I should put more thought into it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm
And
trying
I feel
to be
like we're
more
at the age
serious.
where there's no negatives in being your best at everything.
No.
You know, like no one's gonna see you working extremely hard compared to your peers and think, like, why is this dude working so hard? Like everyone around you will look up to you and want to be that.
Yeah.
But it takes a special person to be surrounded by peers that aren't working as hard, but decides to be the standout peer. You know, the
Yeah.
standout one.
And it does take a special type of person to do that, because a lot of people just try and mend into the background.
Yeah.
You know, be a background player and do the same as everyone. It does take a special person to be the person that says, "Hey, I want to stand out. You know, I want to be the best."
I mean, in a smaller situation, you said you're like this too. Like when you're talking to somebody, how you feel like when you feel like they don't know as much as you at a certain topic, you sort of dull your
I do that all the time.
your language to what you think they know.
Not even language, but I'll find myself changing topics, even though this topic excites me and I'm informed on this topic, because I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. But I'll accept it when they're talking about a subject that I may not know and they're making me feel uncomfortable. And I find myself always trying to make the other person more comfortable and almost in a way dumb myself down.
There's definitely been times where I've been sort of embarrassed to know so much about certain things,
Yeah.
like a lot of astronomy stuff. Anytime somebody says something, or honestly a lot of dinosaur stuff, I just know a lot of random facts about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've, like when somebody says something wrong, I'll just let them be wrong. I'm like, I wouldn't correct them, or if they ask me, I'll just say I don't know.
Yeah, but sometimes
Even
it's
though I
good.
do
You
know.
know, like in the business world, sometimes you're the smartest person in the room, but you want people to think you're the dumbest, and you just look. You know, you don't say anything. But sometimes you're the dumbest person in the room, and you want everyone to believe you're the smartest.
Yeah.
There's situations where you need to take advantage of both. But I find myself a lot of times when I should have made myself the smartest, even if let's say I wasn't the dumbest, let's say I was the smartest, I don't want to express, you know, my knowledge in a certain area, and just finding myself, I don't want to be that guy, but sometimes being that guy really markets yourself as above everyone else.
What's wrong with being that guy, do you think? Or like,
It's situational.
Why do some people
there is times where that guy isn't necessary, and that guy can negatively like impact your like perception by people.
do you think so?
Yeah, there definitely is.
Yeah,
But
like-
I found myself like in times where it would have benefited me, not taking it. You know.
Yeah.
Like I was watching, and to sort of give an example of the time we're saying being that guy could be unnecessary. I was watching the fighting game tournament, Combo Breaker, and the Korean people, when they threw scissors, for rock paper scissors, they like made a gun with their hands, and people were laughing about it, and I'm saying it's like, yo, you're out here throwing paper, and they're out here throwing up guns. But then somebody, like the one dude that actually looked it up and looked back the history, it's like you look at that person, it's like, okay, we're all having fun. Why do you gotta like ruin it like that?
But
And that
for
could
some
be-
people,
that's
it's not ruining it. I don't think. It's just explaining. I mean,
No, because
it's
you
someone's
know,
culture. You don't have to laugh at it
No,
because
but
they do a certain.
you
thing.
know they're not really throwing up guns, and you know it's just a joke.
No, obviously it's a joke.
But if
But
you
it
don't-
is
if you-
important
that's
to know where you're
I
coming
understand that
from.
example, but I'm talking more like, okay, let's say someone's like selling a house. You're a
Yeah.
realtor, and someone say, wow, this like granite, like it's beautiful, and they find value in it.
Yeah.
But you could tell them this is actually very cheap granite. You know,
Yeah.
this isn't. But you don't want to do that. You want to
Yeah, no.
you don't want to express your knowledge all the time.
Yeah.
You'd be like, let them in marketing and business. It can help, because there is always something better out there that you may know about, and you personally, if you bought a house, would look for that.
But those
But
people, they
you-
may not have.
yeah,
That. Yeah,
you
no,
don't-
that
you
is
don't
that.
wanna
And
push that.
there's times where having that knowledge can hurt you. Like in that situation, where it's somebody who just looks at the granite, it's like, wow, this looks nice, and doesn't look at like the quality of it.
Right.
Is like that could be a bad. Life's just simpler
Mm-hmm.
in a way.
Yeah,
And
and it doesn't make the other person necessarily a bad person for not knowing what type of granite
Right.
it
You
is.
just don't want to.
But
Sometimes it's
yeah,
not
sometimes
good to,
yeah, you know, you're definitely right. It is very situational. Sometimes you just don't have to be that guy. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to express yourself
let
that
people
way.
enjoy what they're not educated on.
Yeah.
Like someone could get, you know, a pair of headphones and a what do they call it? The people that are super into audio.
Audiophiles?
Audiophiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an audiophile. It's not his play. Let them enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like yes, you can invest in nicer quality for yourself, but it's not. you know, some people just don't find that passion that you do for
Yeah.
audio, and so you can't do that, you know.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. I feel
Yeah, it can be seen as rude in a way. Like if you walk
No,
into
yeah,
somebody's
definitely.
house and like, oh, why did you get this when there was a better quality for the same price?
Mhm.
It's like, okay, why
Some
are
But
you?
people
there's also
don't
times
doing all
where
that.
you wanna really show it. Like every time we buy cars, like my family just isn't really educated. They don't care enough to be educated on cars, so they bring me with them. And like I'm that's when I really need to show what I know and really help them out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if someone pulls up with a car and they really enjoy it and they're not family, not asking for my expertise, it's not my place.
Then there's
to,
no point. Yeah. No,
yeah.
you're very right. Yeah, you're very correct in that.
Yeah, it's just like you never want to. If somebody's happy with what they have, then you never want to tell them that it's bad.
Yeah.
You never want to tell them that what you're doing is wrong. If it's not hurting anybody and they're happy with it, then just let them be happy with it.
Yeah.
And like a business transaction, like you offer a deal that obviously you feel is benefiting yourself, and you want the other person to feel like they have the benefit as well. But you could offer someone a deal that you wouldn't accept if it was offered to you, and that doesn't make you a bad person. That makes you, you know, kind of take advantage of their non-expertise in
Yeah.
certain aspects.
And in the world, you have to take advantage sometimes. If you want to grow, as bad as it sounds, really, you're not necessarily a bad person for wanting to take advantage of the knowledge and non-knowledge. Because at the end of the day, you have to grow yourself. Even if
and
that
that's
means
why
putting
you
something
chase
down,
that
you know?
knowledge. Is
Yeah.
for these
That's-
situations.
Yeah, so you can be more qualified and more
Right.
known in the subject. Yeah.
That's like the whole thing of sports, really. You just want to find their weakness and take advantage of it.
No, yeah, definitely, yeah.
So, like taking advantage of somebody's ignorance is not like if it's not too hurtful, then I want to say it's okay, really.
No, yeah, because
There's wrong
'cause-
forms of that,
yeah,
of course.
Well, you're completely right. I mean that's the reason why we work to be at the place we're at, so we can have the knowledge and be better at the other people that don't have the knowledge, so we can excel ourselves. You know,
Mhm.
because we have that
and
knowledge.
it's like you can't feel bad. Like let's say you bought a fake pair of Beats, right?
Yeah.
And you know they're super fake, and it's for someone who knows Beats, it's obviously very fake. Like I would feel bad being that guy selling a fake pair of Beats to someone who has no idea.
Yeah.
But looking from the outside, it's like I wouldn't find myself in that situation because I would make sure I did the research.
Yeah.
So I can only feel so bad for the person who bought it.
Yeah, at some point it has to become on the other person's end. If you really were wanting this, for example, the Beats, you would have really done your research and know what to look for. But if not, then it's really on you because you don't
Yeah.
seem to care about it.
Like I wouldn't be that person who abuses my knowledge and really hurts people. But looking from the outside, yeah, you like I wouldn't find myself in that situation because I care more about myself to just not do research on a big purchase or something.
The same reason why you wouldn't call somebody's same reason why you don't call somebody's house ugly. It's like, you know, they paid a lot for it, you know, they're happy with it, so
Yeah.
you know, why would you really like sort of
Put someone down for something that
they enjoy.
Yeah.
But I think there's no you can make yourself like dumber per se. But it's very hard to genuinely like educate yourself quickly, like very quickly. So I think you have to give yourself the knowledge as much as you can beforehand and come into that and be able to manipulate it.
Yeah.
Because you can't really manipulate if you really are at a low level, manipulate
To
you
a
know,
higher level.
to a higher level as easier
Yeah.
or as easy. So I think there's never any negative to being more educated on something.
I don't think there is either. Yeah, I think you're 100% right.
There's a negative of showing it. There's times and places to show it.
And there's times where, let's say you realize you are at a low level. You can fake it as much as you possibly can to get what you want. But it's just much easier to be on the other end.
When I talk to my sisters and my dad a lot, there's a lot of times where they ask me a question. I just realize that I just can't articulate it. I just don't know enough to really answer that question. So
Yeah.
I just say, it's like, I really don't know. Even though that, and they don't like make me feel bad for not knowing. They just,
It's not
they just
necessarily a
know that
bad
they
thing
don't
to
know.
to not know. You know.
Yeah.
It's
And I
just,
think it's different looking at it business-wise versus relationship-wise. You know, like if I didn't know in a relationship-wise, I would, you know, or even where there's nothing on the table being exchanged. It's like, yeah, like teach me about it. So when there is something exchanged, I do have that knowledge.
Yeah.
But in business, people use it very, very strategically.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah.
It's like sort of going back to sports again, like how LeBron and James Harden, they all train with each other in the summer, but during the game, they're not going to tell you how to beat them.
Right.
But in the summer, they might tell you it's like
Mhm.
you're gonna have to remember something. So if there's nothing at stake, people are more willing to help you. But in business, a lot of times something is at stake, and
Right.
money's always at stake when you're in like a business meeting. So
Mhm. Yeah, you're never gonna
They're
offer
more
someone a
willing-
contract and then
Knowing
expect
that
them
you're on
not
the
to
bad
sign it
side.
because it's a bad contract. But when they pull the pen out to sign it, you tell them no.
yeah.
Like
like that commercial with the people playing basketball, and the dude's like, "Yo, I touched the ball, it was going out, coach." That's
I don't think I
what?
saw that.
You haven't seen that? It was like,
Nah.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
He's like,
it's
yo.
one of the commercials where it's like the PSAs, the ones that they had at school, like, oh, you should do better, integrity, whatever.
And they said,
And the dude was like, so basically, it was like the final of whatever basketball game, and they were playing, and it was like one of the last shots, like one of the game-winning shots, a very important possession, and the ball had gone out of bounds and it was contested. It ended up ruling for the green team, but the dude on the red team said, "Hey, coach," he went up to the ref, said, "Hey, it was actually me that knocked it out, so it should have been." Their ball. I said
I'm
that.
saying
Wrong. It should have
that-
been their ball.
I'm saying that situation would never happen. Nobody
where they're being the bigger person and
yeah,
telling them the
nobody
truth.
would ever do that when there's something at stake.
Yeah, and
That's
that's the
just
thing.
something that just
Yeah, in pickup ball, yeah. But when if you're in the NBA and you get caught doing that, it's people will respect it, but it isn't the norm for a
I
reason.
don't
It
I
is
don't
respected, but at that point, you're putting millions of dollars
exactly.
on
you're,
the line.
you're sacrificing the whole team.
Yeah.
Like it's a call. It's not up to you.
Right.
Like, you may
No.
have been affected it, but it's not up
Have
to
you seen those soccer videos on YouTube where it's like showing respect in soccer?
Yeah.
It's like sometimes like the goalie will like get hit in the face and be on the ground and you have an open goal. Like sometimes you will gain respect by not scoring that goal sometimes.
Yeah.
But 99% of the time, and it's not a bad thing if you go with the 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense both ways. And I definitely
No,
think
and it's in situations like something like a very contested call. Obviously, you're not going to call it, but somewhere where say for example, the goalie gets hurt. I don't know, for some reason he gets really badly hurt. Me personally, I don't think that I would be able to.
yeah,
score
out of
that,
respect.
You know?
It
But,
definitely is situational.
It is. Yeah, it's definitely situational
It
because
depends on what stage I'm on. Because if it's like, if it's professional, then I would score it.
You
Because
look at,
it's what you're there for. Just
who's
like
the guy who blocked the ball with his hand. I can't think of his name.
Argentinian guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I forget
Yeah,
his
but-
name.
Played for Barcelona a few years ago. I don't know if he still plays.
on a sports team, anybody could get hurt. Just because the goalie got hurt, I'm not gonna try to win less.
No, but
like, I could
it's
get
not
hurt
about
running over
winning.
there.
It's not. But
I'm not gonna expect you to. I'm not gonna expect you to let my other team score because I was
it's
gonna
just-
score.
But at that point, it's not about letting the other. What would you expect yourself to do? Without you, you don't have to consult their opinion.
Like you understand that this is not fair.
Yeah.
Like because in sports especially, there's two ways to it. If your goalie was knocked out for whatever reason, got hit in the head super hard by another player, and the other guy just ran it in and did a little like some fancy thing to score.
Yeah.
Like of course you would look at it like that's not cool. That's so disrespectful.
yeah, well,
And so some players will find themselves like being compassionate to the other team and being like, maybe I shouldn't, you know?
I think it's not up to the player. I think the player should score. Look, it's up to the refs to stop play. Like in football,
But you
If
can't
something-
change the rule book. In certain, let's say,
I don't know that much about soccer, so can the refs stop play if something like that happens?
They can't stop play, but it's not 100% time. They can't do that every time. You know, at some point, play has to keep going.
because goalies would fake being hurt every time it's about to be
Exactly, yeah.
scored. Like you would know, that this goalie is in excruciating pain. Like this goalie cannot get
Like
up
this
and
is not,
defend
like
this.
at
Like,
that
maybe
point,
I
it's a matter
shouldn't.
of sportsmanship.
Yeah.
You know? And I personally, I believe in sportsmanship. I've
Yeah, I
never been
believe
the
in
type of person
sportsmanship
to.
I can't think of a situation like in my
In
head.
basketball, if the ref makes a bad call, no one's hurt for like a situation like that. I completely agree.
Yeah.
The ref made a bad call in your favor. Let that be in your favor because you believe the other team would do the same.
Yeah.
Let it be in their favor. But an injury or something like that, I feel like leaves a lot of room for your own personal
No, I
beliefs.
mean, in football, if a cornerback pulls a hamstring running, the quarterback's is still gonna throw the ball to the open receiver.
But I think it's different. I was just compared to the soccer example.
So
It's different.
like I said, I can't think of an example in soccer because I don't watch soccer, so I really don't know the
It's like
events
if
that would
someone trips
unfold.
and they pull their hamstrings too. Someone's chasing you down and they pull their hamstring and you're off. Like that's different.
I'm thinking about something a lot more serious. Say a player had some
Well, okay.
spontaneous stroke, heart attack on the
Yeah.
stroke. At that point, it wouldn't be cool to finish the play.
Like when
Right.
Gordon Hayward broke his ankle on that dunk. it's not like the other team was off and running when he was down. They should have stopped.
Yeah,
Because
No, and
Exactly.
that's
sort of
what we're
example.
trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
obviously,
a
yeah.
crazy like not a usual situation.
And that's
Something
what
that
we're
you
trying to
really
say,
feel for the guy, his career. Like people felt bad for him.
Yeah.
Like your career that you worked so
And
hard
at
to
that
just
point,
like
it's
the
more
first
about
game of
winning.
the season or whatever it
It's
was.
more about winning.
Like-
It's at a human level, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I can see that. I can see situations now. There's
Yeah.
another time I'm thinking of when the Seahawks played the Cowboys, like 2014. I forgot what year, maybe 2015. But I'm not sure if you know about this. But when the dude got knocked out, and he like wasn't moving for like, it was like 10 minutes. Like hasn't moved a muscle. Like people thought he was dead, and it was on a kickoff, and like they didn't run it back or anything just because it was out of respect. So
Yeah.
or out of sportsmanship, I'm not sure respect, but.
And I feel
can think of
sport-
situations.
I mean, I've always been, I've personally always tried to be a good sport. I've never been the one to like talk shit on like when I used to play, just because that wasn't me. There was a lot of people that were really big shit talkers, and I get why they did it, but me personally, I've always felt like if I'm gonna win, I'm gonna base it on my own ability and not base it on putting the other person down or like
But there's
or
also
taking
those,
advantage
those
of it.
other sports like UFC
Yeah,
where your manipulation and shit talking really can.
it really
It
does,
really is
yeah.
part of the sport.
And
The
yeah.
UFC, most of the stuff they're saying is just for promotion.
But it really can get in the guy's head, and
No,
really,
it really can. Yeah, no, you're
like
right.
when he steps in the ring, he has a different mindset
Yeah.
than if you didn't say anything.
And but
So
Like,
sometimes
what's his
it's
name?
beneficial.
Like, have you? What you know? What Deontay Wilder said? I forgot who he fought, but he was just saying he
was it the guy from the UK?
I think so. I don't
Dude,
know.
Deontay Wilder is a freak.
He's crazy.
A freak.
I'll talk about him after this.
Yeah.
but he's saying it's like boxing's the only sport where I could literally kill you in the ring. I'll still get paid and go home and have a good night's sleep afterwards.
Mhm.
I must say, like, he's not really gonna kill him, but that's something that when you say like when he says it, it's like it's kind of true.
It
And
is-
Mike
it is very
Tyson, he
true.
said it's like somebody asked Mike Tyson about his uppercut. He said because I heard if you hit somebody's nose in the right way, you can push the nose bone into the brain. So that's what he was trying to do. So when you hear stuff like that, you're like, wow, this guy's that's kind of crazy. That can get in your head. It can make
Yeah.
you second think going for that aggressive shot.
Yeah, and that's the thing with like combat sports. It's just there's people really are. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Is to beat you to where you can't
Where you can't
perform at
continue,
all.
yeah.
Like being like with Daniel Cormier and I forgot his name. The dude that said after the fight
John
said
Jones?
no, he said my balls is hot. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway,
Nah.
they're like friends in real life, and they fought in the UFC. And like being able to be friends with somebody and getting into a fight with them in a UFC, like in that way, it's like you have to be a certain type of person. It's
you
like
definitely do. Yeah.
Yeah.
to sort of just flick that switch on and just being like, okay,
I mean, you have to be able to switch between like your professionalism or your sport life with your personal life.
it's like a job.
So I mean, but it is a job. You know, it's not like a job. That is their livelihood.
Yeah, and it's not like there's so much room for decision in combat sports, like the judge's decision.
Yeah.
You really can't say I'm gonna barely beat him. Like I'm not gonna destroy him
Yeah.
because like no, your goal is to knock him
It's-
out. You
it's,
want
yeah.
that just to be over. Like it's
Yeah.
over. You don't want to ever get
there's
to a
definitely
decision.
some people like Mayweather and even Tyson Fury, who fought Wilder. They're sort of there to
Wait, Mayweather fought Wilder?
no Tyson Fury.
I was- okay,
But I'm saying they're definitely-
I never saw that one.
They're definitely people that are trying to outbox you rather than knock you out. Like they're going for points. Like they're
Yeah,
going
but
for
they understand.
shots
They
and-
would knock you out if they could. Like
Yeah,
Floyd
yeah,
Mayweather
yeah.
got to a point in his career where he wasn't a knockout artist,
Yeah.
and he really never was. And so he just understood that he needs to play for points. And that's the thing. Mayweather. The thing about Floyd Mayweather is his form of boxing is very boring,
Yeah.
like defensive only. So he made himself such a hated guy. Like he wasn't always Floyd Money Mayweather. He made it like that because no one would watch him if he was a nice guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Like people, you tune in to see him get knocked out, but his defense makes that never happen.
Yeah.
So you tune in over and over again,
Wow.
50 times, and it just never happens.
It's like at the end of most of his fights, both dudes are both standing probably. Both of them
Yeah.
are probably sweating tired.
Yeah.
But like Wilder, he can do whatever he wants. He can be the nicest guy on earth because he's gonna like kill you.
Yeah,
Have
and
you seen Wilder?
Wilder
Yeah,
doesn't want to knock. That's what he's known for, is knocking people out. He has like out of
He
like
has
40 something wins.
he has-
39 are knockouts.
he has
Right.
40 wins, 40 knockouts, one tie. Wait, it might be 39.
No, 39. There was a fight where he knocked the guy out, and He got up. The ref counted super slow to 10.
No, that was Tyson Fury, and
That
that
was
ended up in
Tyson
a
Fury?
draw.
Yeah, but it wasn't considered a knockout.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But I think,
But he did knock him out. Technically, if the
he
ref
knocked
counted
him
correct.
down.
Yeah.
No, because
Knocked
if you
him
don't get
down.
up in 10 seconds, it's a knockout.
He knocked him down.
He knocked him out, technically.
Nah, he got up.
He got up later than 10 seconds. The ref counted slow.
Did an actual 10 seconds, I think he's saying.
Yeah. If he wouldn't have gotten up, if the ref counted correctly and didn't count on his scorecard, it would have been a knockout.
Yeah.
So he was robbed out of a knockout. But
Wilder's one of those people. Like, he didn't start boxing until he was 19. Or that's like he's. Imagine just be like your first boxing fight, you knock somebody out. Then your second one, you knock somebody out. Then here he is, 40 fights later, he knocked everybody out.
and I remember I watched
Like
him
the
and,
ego you have to have.
Yeah, him and Joe Rogan's. They did a podcast together, and he was telling a story about his grandma as he was growing up. His grandma wouldn't let his parents hit him in front of her because she saw it in him. She said, "One day this kid will give you everything. Don't touch him. Don't have any bad blood with this kid." And he said that it really changed him. Like not hearing that, he would have been a different person. Like someone telling you that as a young kid really will change how you believe in yourself.
Yeah, no, it really will.
And it turned out to be true. And he bought his parents everything they have now. So
He's like Mike Tyson 2.0.
the heavyweight, light heavyweight, right?
He's heavyweight.
Heavyweight. Yeah, it was. I heard a lot of people say that the division was like nothing. Like
He brought
for
it
a
back.
long time, he brought it back.
Right.
You need to watch. Like he knocked.
You need to watch his highlights.
I'm not a huge fan of combat sports. I'm just not.
He knocked the one dude out that I forgot his name, but he knocked him out in the first round. It was a hype fight. His opponent was talking trash. He talked something about his family.
I'm sure I've seen it on Twitter and stuff. It's all
Yeah,
over
you
the place,
definitely.
but
I
I'm
mean,
just-
if you
personally, I'm not a huge fan. I don't like the.
when he said he was gonna kill the guy, that got over. That got pretty big news coverage.
Yeah.
So he definitely probably hurt him.
No, I've definitely heard the name, but I just never took the time to take it. I'm just not interested. It's not my thing. It's too brutal for me.
Really, it fascinates me.
But I like boxing more than the UFC because the UFC is a little too brutal for me. I don't like seeing people's bones get broken.
No,
That doesn't
even
really-
that. Like I'm a person. I'm
Boxing
a
is more
big
like chess.
pacifist. But
Yeah, boxing's more.
I definitely can see the strategy and the skill behind it. Like it's not like I don't see that, but just personally, I don't like watching dudes fight each. Like I don't know. Personally, doesn't excite me as much.
Yeah.
You know? It's
Like
just- but there
when
definitely
Conor
is
McGregor was
a
fighting
huge amount of skill.
Mayweather in a box, like he told him I could kill you if this was a real fight. Like that's got to get into your head at least a little bit.
No,
Like
yeah,
he used
definitely.
everything.
McGregor
he was,
said that.
Yeah, he was such at a disadvantage. Like he needed to use his words
His
to really
mental-
get
yeah.
into his mental game.
No, I'm saying boxing isn't a fight. It's boxing.
Yeah.
You know? But MMA is more, or
MMA
UFC is
a
more of
brawl.
a fight. Yeah. It's like a street fight pretty much
Yeah.
with a little bit of rules. With regulations, not really rules.
Yeah.
So, Conor McGregor probably would. I mean, definitely would.
Yeah, no doubt,
Cool.
no doubt.
But there's definitely boxers. Like, McGregor's a boxer in the UFC. Yeah, like he's
a
good-
stand-up
yeah,
puncher.
he's stand- But, he's not a boxer for a boxer. you
Yeah.
know?
I mean, yeah, he has great grappling, but he's known for his stand-up game.
Yeah, being a good boxer in the UFC is different than being a good boxer
In general.
for professional boxer.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I do see the strategy behind it, and all the subtle movements that they do, the way that they can move, that they can do, that they can be 5 steps ahead of you, in order to set up that good punch, or be able to see the opponent's movement, be able to read the other person, to be able to read them and move around to the point where you can counter them successfully.
It's crazy how fast they are.
That's insane. Reaction times are insane.
The reaction, yeah, the
Reaction
reactions they
times are
have
insane.
to fully. It's they always have a punch loaded.
Yeah.
Most of the time when they have that one stance, how they jab with
Yeah.
their offhand, that, with Wilder, it seems like his right hand is always loaded.
Yeah.
So if you give him an opening, he's ready to unload it full in half a second. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And I think most of that is just really reactions and just knowing just knowing that at any point you can end it. You have to be ready.
Yeah,
That's one of the biggest things I feel in boxing. You must be ready at all points. Just end it if you have that opening. You know.
it's crazy how the mindset you have to fight somebody who can knock you out in one punch,
Yeah.
and and like you can knock them out in one punch, how like I want to say timid you have to be, but how
Cautious.
back you have to play.
Yeah.
Like you can't just go all in swinging
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
because they can knock you out.
They
you
are
can
so
knock them out.
smart at, and especially they have fighters mentality. No one's at the highest level of fighting unless they are a fighter.
Yeah.
So they always want to fight the best. So they always understand the risk. And it's just like you were saying, you can't just come out going crazy. Like they are so talented at conserving their energy and picking their spots.
That's what
A guy can
makes
have
Mayweather great.
their face wide open, but if you know he's a great defensive boxer for right hands, you won't throw a crazy right hand even if it seems so open,
Yeah.
because you'll conserve that energy for maybe a left hook later.
Yeah.
So they're super smart, super smart.
It's like boxing it's a lot of strategy,
Yeah,
and I can see like boxing is just slower. Like if you're in the UFC, a lot of people say they like UFC more than boxing just because it's more fast paced, and you know you can see people utilize every bit of their fighting ability.
Yeah.
and UFC does take, I wouldn't say more thinking, but a different type of thinking, because you're not just watching their posture and what punches they're going to be throwing. You're watching their feet. What, like, they could like kick your legs out from under you.
Yeah.
At the same time, hit you like with a left hook or something. Like you got to be ready for
It's
a
a lot more to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can be on the ground and say, my foot can't be here. It's got to be here, or else I'll get in a leg lock or something.
Yeah.
It's a lot of thinking
That
too.
that must be crazy. Like knowing if you one wrong move, they could take your arm off. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
I feel like honestly the same could be said, like the same kind of strategy could be said for most professional sportsmen. Like even in a sport like say football, at the end of the day, like the head coach is planning the players in a certain way that he knows is going to be at an advantage towards the other team and the way they're going to be set up. You have to be able to read that. Same like say soccer, for example, you have to be able to set up your team and be able to pass the ball in a way that you're going to have an open spot or work on a play that you think that the players, they're going to move this way, so you can shift to a side or say so. Like you know what I'm saying. Like for any sport, there is a level of knowledge that most people don't see in
Yeah,
every day.
of course.
Every day, people just see the action or the physical highlights. They don't think of the mental game.
But I
behind
just
it.
think in combat sports, people enjoy the thought process more just because it's an individual sport and the consequences are severe.
Yeah.
Like really severe. So it's they respect, like, yes, certain sports think just as much, but they respect the thought and the execution so much
Right.
more because there's so much more on the line.
Like yeah, if you mess up in soccer, if a guy gets past you or football,
But your
a guy
teammate
gets
will be
past
there
you.
to hopefully defend
Yeah.
him.
No,
But
no,
you-
no,
if you
no.
mess up-
I understand that. I understand 100% what you're saying. But I just think it's important to note also that a lot of other
Yeah, of
sports
course.
have
Yeah,
the,
people that are
the
professional
strategy.
athletes
Yeah, they
are the
it's not-
smartest at their sport.
Yeah.
Like I say this about a lot of people say that like a college team could beat a pro team in anything. It's like college players. There's only a certain amount of sports time the NCAA like regulates them to have. So they just don't put in enough time to be on anywhere near the level
Yeah,
of any
like
professional
Alabama
player.
at their best could not beat most like NFL teams at their worst. Like it's
Yeah.
just a different caliber.
Because you have to think about these people like Alabama, the best players are going to the Bills and all the Cardinals, the bad teams.
Yeah, they are insane players. Their chemistry and their execution might not be there, but you cannot negate their talent. Like they are crazy talented.
Like I hate that. I think this like if a pro football team were to play a college team, the skill positions like receivers and backs and linebackers maybe they would hold up, but it's like really the line
Yeah,
because college players just aren't as strong. They say that's the biggest thing about linemen. There's not strong
and
enough when they come
quarterbacks
out.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quarterbacks they're used to.
It's
The
there's-
speed.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
you see like with other positions that after a certain point your age catches up to you.
Yeah.
But with quarterbacks, it seems to be a lot later because their time on the field is really it's more of a smart position.
No,
rather
yeah,
than
yeah.
a
That's what I
It's,
said about
it's
the
a
line.
football IQ.
Yeah.
Because the line's a strength position, and you're still getting stronger until you're like 35.
Yeah.
You're good, but like the speed positions, then college kids would keep up.
Yeah. No, but definitely like a position like quarterback, you have to be able to read the game and be able to read the defense to know what you're going to be doing, and that's
Yeah.
what makes a successful quarterback more than say like their physical abilities. I would say.
And like with UFC and boxing, it really is like a quarterback, like someone who is super smart, but also is using their physical. It's like best of both.
Yeah.
It's like a receiver who can play like Tom Brady.
I was
It's really
watching
cool.
First Take, and they were saying how somebody was saying how the quarterback is the most important I agree with this. How the quarterback is the most important position in any sport, no matter what sport it is, what singular position. But
I would agree.
But the impact of a singular basketball player, since there's so little people on the team, may be more than that one quarterback. But having good quarterback play is, what makes or break your team.
Yeah.
And you can, if that one player is average, then your team can still win the finals. But if their quarterback is average, I guess your team still could win the Super Bowl. It's a lot less likely.
No, they're comparable. Like LeBron James can turn around can take a lot of teams to the finals.
Yeah.
But like Tom Brady maybe couldn't do the same. But Tom Brady's like the influence as being a quarterback and you being the coach's right hand man, like they're different.
No, like if you have a bad quarterback, literally nothing gets done.
Yeah,
you score
that's
0
true.
points per game.
Yeah.
But if you're insanely good at basketball, you can change a team. But if you're average, you might not hurt the team as much as if you're a bad quarterback.
Yeah. So saying a quarterback is, I would agree with that. They're the most important singular position.
That's why they always go like top in the draft.
Yeah.
Because that is like a franchise quarterback is really a franchise quarterback. But a franchise receiver isn't not as much as like franchise changing as a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Like you look at Tony Romo, he's one of the smartest quarterbacks of all time. Like he was insanely smart, but he's not one of the best quarterbacks of all time. But he had that, like even him commentating, like his IQ is insane for football.
Yeah, I think a lot more quarterbacks are like him than people. Like how he calls out plays from formations. Like my dad does that. He played receiver in college.
Well, I'm not saying. You gotta his football
I'm saying he
play as well on the field.
Yeah,
he was a very smart quarterback.
I'm saying, but like professional
people are
players, I
shocked
think it's
by
crazy
that.
how much professional football players, especially coaches, how much they know from just seeing how people move.
Yeah.
Like when they say when they call out the Mike backer, what he does and how he changes the play from knowing who that is and stuff like that. That can determine if they're in like what zone they're in, because if there's a mic, they're in zone.
All right, what sport do you say that your physical talents would not train? Like you would be the worst at this sport if you played?
Swimming.
Swimming?
Yeah.
I think me would be like hockey. I'm sure I would be terrible at hockey, but there might be one.
I feel like hockey is one of those sports you don't need like physical attributes to be good at.
No, I feel like you definitely do need physical
I just don't know how to
attributes.
skate well.
You can learn.
No, I'm saying
No,
if I get put in it right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
No,
Like your
I
attributes.
don't want to say swimming.
No, I feel like
Change
hockey's you really do need your physical attributes for your speed, your strength on your skates, the ability to block people off.
Yeah, but hockey
it's a
players,
very physical sport.
It's like soccer where you sort of need
It's a much more physical sport, though. It's
you need to be well rounded. It's not like in track or swimming, as I was saying, because you need one focus,
that is
one
the
thing.
one thing. Yeah.
No, I'd be the worst at definitely. What's that shit in the Olympics where they
Curling.
curling? Yeah, I don't know.
Just
I don't know what's
just
going on.
done
Just
the
because I'm
skills,
so
yeah.
uneducated.
Yeah,
No,
we
I
just
don't
don't know the skills.
I don't think there's a way that you could be terrible at curling. I feel like
Maybe if I'm the thrower,
two
not that
lessons.
bad. But if
I feel
I'm
like
the
two
broomer,
lessons, you'll be all right.
No, I
If
feel
you
like that's
learn
not
from
true.
somebody,
I
you'll
feel
be
like
all
that's
right.
not true.
you know
I
what's
feel-
actually
I-
probably
I-
the hardest for everyone? Esports, like a specific
Esports,
video
yeah.
game.
League,
You just
bro.
don't know
Those
the
league
buttons.
players
Even
are
like you don't even know how to
insane,
move. Like in
Wait.
every other sport, you know how to move
Yeah.
at least. But in a video game, you
Yo.
literally might not know how to move.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Bro, some of the like I've tried to watch some of them, and some of the stuff they do is
Esports?
insane. Esports, like I've tried watching like the league championships, and some of the movements they do are like
Oh.
the way they can see things in the future. Like, no way, like
no,
I
like
cannot
I'm
predict
I'm that way with fighting games because I watch a lot of fighting games, and
Yeah.
the way I just want to do named Sonic Fox,
Mhm.
the way he reads people and sort of like it's a guess, but how he knows what they're gonna do consistently for like he's been doing it for like 10 years now
Yeah.
against everybody. He like knows what they're gonna do before they do it.
It's a reading game.
And a lot of professional players are worse against newer players. Like that happens in Fortnite because like so many people are predictable once you get to a certain level. Like this is what you should do if you're good.
Yeah.
And when you play against someone who doesn't know what they're doing, a lot of times they'll catch
It
you.
is hard, yeah.
Because it's like they're so unpredictable.
Yeah, that is
There's
true.
definitely been times, like I said, in fighting games where people do the most random stuff, like after you press a button and they do something that's completely unsafe.
Yeah.
So you're assuming them just to sit there and block, but they just press another button and it catches you. It's like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
If I do this, you would literally be dead right now.
Yeah.
But if they keep doing it that way, it's like,
Yeah.
No, it's just
I guess I'm dead now.
Yeah,
the
you see the
unpredictability,
negatives,
Yeah.
so you don't do a certain move,
yeah.
but so you assume that they're not gonna do it,
Yeah.
and so you're not ready to give them what would be negative on their end, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all understand what I'm saying, but
It's crazy that like that's once you get to a certain level, you can't like think how you thought when you were bad. So being bad, it can help you.
bro, I stopped playing Fortnite for a while, and then I played at Morgan's. I'm so much better because I forgot my bad habits.
Really?
Yeah, like because I watch Fortnite videos all the time.
Yeah.
Like I know what to do, but I literally for not playing for like a week forgot all my bad
Dude,
habits.
I mean, I'm sort of the same way with skating. Like, there's been times where I like skate for like 15 minutes, and there's like I'm bailing on everything. But then I sit down, and I just sort of like look at people do it and watch videos, and then I get back on the board and I like perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, we need to go skate.
I land kick flips every once in a while now. I landed
That's
a 2 yesterday.
I remember my first kickflip ever. That was the craziest like moment of
Really?
thrill. Like I remember it was snowing here for some reason.
Yeah.
It was like super rare, so I shouldn't have gone out. But I just went out and I was like, I put on a bunch of clothes. I'm gonna try like 5 times, and I landed one. I just was out there
Bro.
for hours trying to do it over and over.
The
again.
kickflips I land are so wet, like because I flip the board and I purposely land with like 1 foot on the back and tail, so it stops it and it's in like
Yeah. That
manual.
happens. I mean, skateboarding's a hard sport.
Skateboarding is
No, yeah,
a mental
definitely
thing.
is,
Like I
yeah.
think it's crazy how these professional skaters, they go to a skate park that they've never been to, and just go full speed at a 10
Yeah.
stair, and they're like,
Without
"Oh."
even looking down.
I
or
know. It's
something.
like, all right, and they just
believe in their skills so much, and
Yeah.
like, you just gotta believe.
you not committing fully in skateboarding. Like you cannot land the trick unless you commit fully, which is a really hard barrier to overcome with certain tricks.
Like they're not scared of getting hurt at all.
They
And
just
that's-
don't believe they're gonna get hurt. They trust their skills enough.
Yeah.
Like that's the one sport where I feel like if you're really good at skating, then it's like you need to be more than just really good. Like you need to also have
Style and things like that.
style, and just people have to like you.
Yeah, the best skateboarder in the world is not like most people's favorite skateboarder, which is probably Nigel Houston. I don't really keep up too much, but is he still the best in the world? Probably.
There's Yuto Horigome.
Never heard of him.
He's from Japan. He's crazy consistent at competition. Like he's the best competition skater right now. Him and Nija.
Like I was always like a Sean Malto, like that
my
type of, just because their style. They were never the greatest.
Like
by
my favorite
any
skater,
means.
he's not like I didn't have a favorite skater growing up. It was Nija, I guess.
But
But
Luan
now
Oliveira. he's fire.
Luan's style is crazy.
Yeah.
I always like Chris Joslin, just because the way that the way he just takes stairs is
I
crazy.
feel like skateboarding's a very like non-popular sport. We probably shouldn't be talking about skateboarding.
That is.
Oh, you guys need to look up Chris Joslin. He's fire.
I think a lot of people would appreciate watching some crazy skateboarding.
No, I remember when you used to show me like the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like it used to be pretty cool. Like just the way they would do things, the way they just present themselves. It was always
Dude,
really interesting.
And you could like ruin a video part if you choose the wrong music.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
everything has to work.
Yeah.
Skating is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like
it really is.
people that are good at skating, it seems like they only like all their homies, like they're not professional. They're still like fire at skating.
Yeah, no one's a really good skater unless they're surrounded by skaters.
Yeah.
Like all their friends are skaters. And
Yes.
all their clothes is skate companies and all their like it's very a lifestyle. Like
It's like
you can tell when someone's a skater most of the time if they're really good at least. And their lifestyle is based on skating.
there's been people that showed up to shenanigans. I seen like one dude, he was the most. He had like I don't know, they're like the slacks pants that cut off to here. He's wearing a
Yeah.
split fire shirt.
Yeah, you know.
His Vans.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this dude shreds, man. You can just tell.
And when someone has a skateboard with shorts on, unless it's like fire short, like you can be really good and wear shorts while skateboarding and you're like insanely good. Or you can see someone wear basketball shorts skating and you know they can't do anything.
Yeah, I started skating these a lot. These sweat shorts.
I never skated in shorts, bro.
But
I was never that
I'm
good.
low-key,
That's
I'm
scary.
I'm low-key kind of scared.
It's scary skating in shorts.
I'm not trying to scrape a knee, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, basketball shorts. Somebody pulls up in the Nike swoosh right on the bottom of the shorts, red basketball shorts, wife beater. It's like, oh, this dude You're still learning how to ollie, huh?
Yeah, but someone pulls up with a flannel and like some cargo shorts and like some ripped up shoes. You know they're fire. Like and not a lot of pros wear shorts, so it's like you got to be very good and very confident to wear shorts.
Imagine just going to a skate park. Like that must be so crazy in LA. How like going to a skate park and just seeing like a shod wear, just there, just chilling.
LA's the mecca for skateboarding.
Is it really?
Yeah, they got the best parks, the best shops, the best people, like the best filmers. They got the best everything.
This is where you go if you're good. It doesn't matter where. Like you just go there.
Yeah.
Mitch, who's your favorite skater right now? I know.
I mean, I don't really watch skateboarding anymore. But
Is it
from what I like recently? The last time I watched skateboarding, probably Luan Oliveira for sure.
Yeah, like I said, I like Chris Johnson, and I really like a shot wearer.
Ashad wears fire. I just watch him a lot. He's really into cars too.
Yeah, he's a BMW guy.
He's like old Porsches and BMWs. Yeah.
Yeah. His personality is like, he's a weird dude.
Yeah.
But
All right, let's change the subject. We were talking about skateboarding for a long
No,
time.
you're good. I mean,
You want to talk about swimming?
no.
Did you ever, when you were into water polo, did you ever keep up with professional water polo?
No.
Is there a professional water polo?
There is, yeah. I mean, not in the U.S. really. In the U.S., it's mostly Olympic. Professional would be over in Europe. It's a really European sport.
Yeah.
Is it like big or is?
It's pretty big over there. In California, it's really big too. Actually, like most people that go into college for it are from California.
Yeah.
Wait, do you not do it anymore? You said when you kept up. Do you not when you played water polo?
I mean, I don't keep up with it now, but I didn't keep up with it before either. Like,
Oh, you're asking if he still plays?
Yeah, like
No.
you still-
no, I don't play anymore.
Oh.
I don't play anymore. I mean, I still know what I'm talking about, but I don't play.
Mhm.
I remember for like our little junior Olympics, there was the rest of the U.S. had their own tournament, and California had their own little sub tournament
Yeah.
because they were just that much better than everyone
Mhm.
else.
That's how, when I played soccer and I was like super into soccer,
Yeah.
I never kept up with professional. Like professional soccer was never my thing.
Yeah,
Like I would rather watch football or basketball, but I loved soccer the most as a sport.
yeah.
See, I played baseball. I never liked watching baseball. I can't really watch baseball. So, I said it was my favorite sport. I still kind of say sometimes that's my favorite sport. But if I have an option to watch like football or baseball, I'm going to choose football.
My favorite all-around sport is probably basketball.
Most recently, my favorite sport to watch is basketball. Like I really like all the technical stuff, all the like the movements they do. Like you're right when you tell me like it's the sport with the most highlights. It really is.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff that goes on.
I think that basketball is going to be the most popular sport in the world in our lifetime.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
That's a bold statement.
Just because
That is
how
very-
fast it's growing in foreign markets.
It's true.
That is very true.
It's
actually.
very marketable.
Yeah. And the biggest athletes in the world, like Michael Jordan, who's bigger than him?
Yeah.
So, and he played basketball. And then you stem from him people like Kristaps Porzingis. And then in his country, people see Kristaps Porzingis.
He's the Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, I can play. And then you keep this chain that
Oh,
keeps
yeah,
going. So it
no, I
grows.
see that for sure.
And like you just see more foreign players nowadays. Like Dirk.
Have you ever watched
Is-
professional Australian football?
I watched a little bit of it when my dad went to Australia. He went to a game. It's really weird. It's
We played that
it's like
in-
rugby.
In my flag football class.
Really?
Yeah, we played Australian football a few
Yeah.
times. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And rugby also it's some crazy sports.
I've always wanted to try
Bro,
rugby, but
Rugby looks like
I
it
knew
has
the
no
opposite.
rules.
Bro, the
there's
professional
actually
rugby
a ton of
players
rules.
are freak athletes.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, they are.
they weigh so much but are so fast and
Yeah.
so strong. Like they are huge,
Yeah.
strong, fast individuals. Like it's crazy.
But like if you look at a rugby game, it's like
It looks all over the place,
It's
so
like,
it's just
what are
'cause we
y'all
don't know
doing?
what's going on. But yeah.
yeah. That's a sport that I feel like I really don't know anything about that I kind of want to learn about. It seems cool.
Rugby?
Yeah.
No. It is really cool. One thing that really like got me about rugby is the way that you see hits. In football, when you see big hits, you usually see people bounce off each other because
Mhm.
of all the padding. But in rugby, when it's a big hit, people just stop in their tracks. There's no padding. You're just stopping your tracks.
The
They're
guy
just,
will be standing and the other guy's just falling.
exactly. It's insane. Like
It's
there's
like a
no
transfer
bounce.
of energy, like
Complete.
perfectly.
Yeah. It's really crazy to think about.
Some Newton's cradles.
Yeah.
I was actually type hits.
I was talking. Well, one of my sister's friends, her dad, he played rugby, and he was
Mhm.
talking about how a lot of American style rugbies, they like their people that play come from football, so they tend to hit like it's
Yeah,
football.
different, yeah.
So in a lot of markets, if you're playing American, like the referees don't like it when you hit him all the time like that.
Yeah. No, and I mean, and there must be ways. Like, there's different styles of hitting, I assume, and and yeah, like the football way, the American football way of tackling, is really specific to American football because that's what is worked.
I feel like
and it has to do with the padding as well.
Yeah.
Football players wouldn't hit the way they hit if padding.
So I
was
feel like
pad,
I feel like people would break their collarbone if they didn't have padding because you're taught to hit with pretty much your collarbone.
Well,
Yeah.
you're taught to hit in American football. You're taught to hit like that. I feel like in rugby they're taught to hit in a different way. So because I mean, you don't.
Well, you lead with your chest, but most of the time
I think American football players hit with the strongest part of their padding, but rugby players hit with the strongest part of their body.
Yeah, I don't know where that would be. Actually.
It seems like
You
a lot
think it's
of
with the,
a lot of shoulder hits. but-
sideways. Yeah.
One of my friends played rugby. One of my sister's friends. I don't know why I said my friends. That's a random fact.
There's a water polo guy that used to play rugby. He was huge. He was like 6'5". He was fucking built. Dude is massive. He was scary. He's a creepy guy, but
Then he played. They
personally.
decided to go to water polo.
no, I mean he played both.
Oh.
There's some athletes that you see in certain sports. It's like your body's built for a different sport.
No, yeah.
like Gronk.
No, like you see
Gronkowski.
some like I remember watching WWE back in the day.
Yeah.
You see some like freak athletes. Like
I know.
what's the guy who went to the UFC? Why can't I think? Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. Yeah.
Like people told him you're built for like some heavyweight like
Yeah.
mixed martial arts.
Who is Brock? Didn't I mean this may be a rumor, but isn't Brock Lesnar? Wasn't there whispers of him fighting Cormier?
I don't keep
Recently?
up with that enough, honestly. I don't
I
know.
have no idea.
Brock Lesnar keeps getting busted for PEDs. He got caught like 3 times.
Brock Lesnar's a crazy guy.
Dude's just ripped, dude. Imagine if you saw that guy in the middle of the street, dude.
I saw like where he lives and stuff. Like
Mhm.
a video where some guy like went to his house, and he was showing like his gym. It's just like old school like tires, like
Really?
like ropes, and like he's just the way he like works out and so it's weird.
I feel like a lot of bodybuilders. Do like weird training stuff
Yeah.
They must.
because they can't just like go to a normal gym and bench press
Yeah,
the
no.
normal weights. They have to like do some unorthodox stuff. Just
And like Brock Lesnar isn't like he has big biceps, he has a big chest, like traditional big muscles. Like he has like the littlest muscles on his body are insanely big.
Yeah.
Like the things he's doing are focusing weird muscles that you can't really hit at the gym.
yeah, that's what I wasn't talking about bodybuilders. I meant like strongmen
Yeah.
competitions. Those people push themselves like when they go to those competitions. How like their nose starts bleeding. That's like a crazy level of like mental
Yeah.
fortitude that you have to.
Their nose starts
To
bleeding
be-
from what? I've never
Like
seen
when they have you seen them deadlift? There's people that like when they
Oh.
lift up the weights, they're
Yeah.
at the end of it they have like
Really?
a nosebleed.
that. I've never- Damn.
It's probably just contracting their face so hard.
No, yeah, just putting so much effort. Yeah.
And
There's
it's
no way
crazy.
that could be healthy.
Part of
No,
that sport is
hernias,
eating.
dude.
Like those guys, it's like people say, "Oh, I could eat a lot. Like I love food." Like nah, it's, they're eating till they want to like
Yeah.
throw up
People-
until they do not want to eat another bite, but they're forcing
Yeah.
themselves over and over again to eat. It's crazy.
They're talking about how most of the day is just working out and eating, working
Yeah.
out and eating.
Like you don't want to. You just have to eat. Like or you'll lose muscle like crazy.
Yeah.
And same thing with offensive linemen in football. Since they work out so much, they have to eat a lot. And they're saying when that's one of the biggest transitions from like high school to college and college to the NFL.
Just nutrition.
It's just like nutrition, just like how much you have to eat
Yeah.
to put on weight when you're burning off,
So much.
3,000 calories a day.
And I never understood when people say, "Yeah, they're just some fat guys like pushing each
Yeah,
other
no.
around."
No,
It's
how
like,
do you-
No.
Like
that's,
what's
Yeah,
that's
no,
not
no.
that.
that one dude on Twitter, the fat dude that was playing basketball. Like, he always
I know
has,
what
like,
you're
the
talking
hot
about,
Spice
yeah.
Adams, you know.
Yeah.
Like he played defensive tackle for the Bears, so you see how he moves. And it's like normal fat people can't move like that.
Yeah.
So it's just a different level of athlete.
And their body percentage, like their fat body percentage, is probably way less than you think. Like they got
Oh,
so
yeah.
much
Oh,
muscle.
What
on
is
it.
it?
Tyrone
Yeah.
Smith? That dude is huge. Like he almost looks like he doesn't look fat, but he's a lineman.
Yeah.
He's
Or you look at
It's
someone like
crazy.
Daniel Cormier. Like he looks like the
Yeah.
average guy walking
he's a
around.
dad bod.
Yeah, like he does not look like a world class athlete. But I mean,
I don't know how he keeps winning.
he'll knock you out the last round and like when he should be tired and
Yeah.
like he's got insane like stamina. It's
He's a
crazy.
wrestler, right?
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah. I mean, because he's short for a wrestler. I know, like, wrestlers, a lot of times they say they want them, like,
Lanky.
they like taller
Yeah.
for leverage and stuff like that. But he's out here doing it.
Crazy. I mean, like 99% of people will never understand professional level sports.
Not at all.
You have to just have a different level of dedication to one thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't think like a businessman, Elon Musk doesn't have the dedication. Like you have to have a different level.
Well, I don't think it's a different type of dedication.
It's a different avenue they put their effort into.
No,
Yeah,
but I
mean,
don't think you could say
Yeah,
he
you
worked
can't
harder.
say-
Elon Musk might work harder mentally.
No, I'm saying
And-
yeah, but it's harder to work hard physically, because
Yeah, do you
you
think so?
It's a
yeah,
different-
because
yeah.
there's times where you can't work any harder, otherwise you will die, or you can die, and that can never happen mentally. If you think about something all day, and you can be mentally drained at the end of the day,
But you're
but
not
if you
physically
really,
drained.
but
Yeah.
if you work out all day, the next day if you try to do the same thing,
No,
you could get hurt.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's like
So-
Elon Musk. That's a reason why like super wealthy businessmen aren't usually in the best shape.
Yeah.
Like
Because
it's,
they just direct their efforts somewhere else.
and even if they directed their effort in the other direction, they wouldn't be
Yeah.
top of the like world class like they are in business.
Yeah.
It's just they're
But I mean-
they're more comfortable. That's what makes them so good. They're
Yeah.
more comfortable in doing like mental work
Yeah.
than like a professional athlete is super comfortable with doing physical.
Yeah, like it goes the
Like
other way
being
around.
physically
A
drained.
professional athlete
Yeah.
couldn't do what someone like
Yeah.
Elon Musk does, obviously, you
Mhm.
know?
no, but that's why I say it's a different level, because mentally you have to prepare to do. Mentally, you have to prepare to do something physical, but you don't have to physically prepare to do something mental. So that's why I say it's a different level.
Yeah, I mean that's true. You look at athletes; they are mentally insane with
Yeah.
what they're doing and
Yeah.
physically insane.
No, yeah, that's a good point.
We're about 2 hours in.
Really? That went
Sheesh.
pretty fast.
Yeah,
That's damn.
it was a good one. Do you want to keep going? You want to stop?
You want to
Take a
little
break?
Yeah,
Let's do
take
it.
a break. I rushed myself.
All right, so we took that little break, but we're 2 hours in, so I think we're gonna end cow tipping episode 1 right here. Thanks Arturo. Thanks Alex. You want to say one last goodbye?
Thank you guys. We'll see you guys next time.
All right, see you next time.